Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the TokuTitanCast. I am your host, Davis Madole, and tonight we are going to be taking a little bit of a detour from the usual stuff, going to a different sector of Japanese media that's, on one hand, not necessarily tokusatsu or anything kaiju related, but something that is pretty near and dear to not just mine, but the hearts of tonight's guests that we have on, especially one that is Lily. Lily, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Mokuri Cho.
Very mokuri indeed. And and joining us tonight, he's not been on stream for a good while, but he has made a special appearance in my Future Cops video. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mifune is back.
What can I say? How's it going?
I don't know. What can you say? Well, clearly, we have a lot to say because, as you can see from this little title card that I put up, there's a lot of attempts when it comes to City Hunter being adapted into live action form. Now, for those who are tuning in and have no idea what City Hunter is, I'll go ahead and break it down for you. So, back in the late 80s, City Hunter was a manga created by Tsukasa Hojo. Basically, it followed the adventures of a city sweeper named Ryo Seiba, whose name loosely translates to "cool savior." Fun fact. He is very funny, very perverted, very serious. Also very good at his job. He's probably like the greatest sharpshooter to ever live. And basically what he does is he hunts crime in the city, hence why it's called City Hunter.
He doesn't hunt cities.
Yes, just want to clarify that, and there's also no connection to Predator 2, unfortunately. But yeah, day by day, Ryo just he really gets on that grind, taking down criminals who are either low-life thugs or just complete terrorists all around. It is some pretty great stuff. So great that it was enough to warrant multiple live-action projects. In fact, I believe there are more live-action projects than actual anime for City Hunter out there, which is kind of interesting to think about.
What can I say? They got us so well the first time.
I feel like that's just going to be tonight's bit. What can I say?
What can I say?
That should have been my profile picture.
Too late.
All right. Before we continue forward, I just want to see who's in the chat real quick. We have Empty Gutko. Don't think I've seen you here before. Really like the Getter Dragon profile picture. We have Joy Palinkas saying that he likes fruit. Billy Mount III, how's it going? Dr. Mifune, what are you doing in the chat? You're already here. We also got Valerie. We also have fellow TokuTitanCast co-host Sean Berry. Sean, you should totally you should really
take the City Hunter pill. Take
the
Mokuri pill.
Please.
Well, actually, if it's a manga only thing, that might have a couple other contexts. But yeah, take the City Hunter pill. Maybe that's better.
Yeah, like literally watching City Hunter as we speak, which is interesting to tune into a stream while watching a movie at the same time. I
stay
feel
off
like
your phones. I can see the light in the theater. Stay off your phones. Yeah. I'm gonna throw my M&Ms.
Bill the Third says City Hunter is basically Magnum PI moonlighting set in Japan. I have heard of one of those, but I've seen neither of those, and I'm sure that is a pretty apt comparison.
I would say a good comparison is think James Bond if he was equal parts Timothy Dalton and Roger Moore, but Lily, do you think that's a good comparison, being the other person who has seen more than 10 James Bond movies?
I don't know. I don't think he's that old.
Call me Rio, sweetheart.
What can I say?
Yes, Valley, you have been on TokuTitanCast before. Just know that you are never excluded. All right. So before we continue on talking about these projects in question, what are y'all's experience with City Hunter? Starting with Mifune.
Okay, well, I'm sure, like many Americans, I started with the Jackie Chan movie, which, yes, my first exposure to this entire franchise is definitely something I'm sure a lot of people say was someone mentioning that there was a movie where Jackie Chan fights someone dressed as Chun-Li, and I said,
What?
okay, I need to
Really?
watch this movie.
Really?
It's like the live action anime version of the guy who says, like, remember that time in the X movies when the guy who couldn't die died, or whatever it's called. But yeah, I watched the movie, which I enjoyed. I later watched a review by someone named Oliver Harper, who does like retrospectives, and he mentioned that this was based on an anime, and I thought, oh, I want to check that movie out, the show out, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, I was, technically speaking, I was watching it while I watched the other movies. I loved it. I loved the aesthetics of it, the music, the action, just the way they mixed humor, romance, and serious drama with it too. And from there, I started watching the individual projects. And when they announced the Philippe Lachaud, I really hope I said that name right, when they announced his movie that was going to be coming out in 2019, but premiering in 2018, I decided, well, let me do I did a little video, was like not a retrospective, but like kind of just basically putting people up to speed with the series that have never watched it before. And from there, I just went through all the movies that I could get my hands on. And now that this movie is coming out, I am back on my City Hunter fever, and I am sorry to anyone who was never in that era, but I'm about to be fixated on that for like the next month or so. I apologize.
Maybe a year. We'll see.
Yeah, you're right.
All
It'll
right.
probably be a year. A month is like very.
Admit it. It's gonna be gone tomorrow.
No.
All right. Lily, what are your experiences with City Hunter?
So my first experience with City Hunter was scrolling through Sunrise's productions and seeing it listed, and then I read the wiki page about it. I watched the first 2 seasons of the show, and then I read about a few volumes of the manga, and from there it was downhill. And then I'm here, and then I spent like 3 days straight watching every City Hunter adaptation that I hadn't seen already, and it's 8:00.
And now every time you see the colors light blue, red, and black together, your mind just goes right to that.
Yeah, and I go, Yo-san, Ro-san.
Me watching a show when someone wears those exact same color pattern, I'm like, oh, pointing. I know what that is. I know what that is.
Yeah. So how I got into City Hunter was also the same way a lot of Western fans got into City Hunter was thanks to the Jackie Chan film, where he cosplays as Chun-Li, fighting Gary Daniels, dressed up as Ken, who would later go on to play Kenshiro in a live-action Fist of the North Star. Interesting how the world works. And I was already with Dr. Mifune around this time, and when I mentioned that I had watched the Jackie Chan City Hunter film, he actually heavily recommended that I check out the anime that it was based on. Talking about how like it's a completely different experience, which only made me even more curious about it, because the film in itself, and we'll definitely talk more when we get to that point. It it did seem like your standard Jackie Chan adventure at first, but when you actually go into the source material and see what's in there as well, it's like the difference is completely night and day. And Mifune's James Bond comparison is very apt because you can see the influence that from from various spy thrillers and action films that was poured into this story, as well as how Japan was also dealing with a bit of a crime wave at the time, which in a way makes City Hunter a product of its time, but something very relevant because it has that real world element built into it. And now I'm here, and now we all get to spread the Mokori love, for lack of a better term.
We're going to be using the phrase "it was a different time" quite a bit in this podcast when referring to some of these movies.
What can I say?
Particularly two of them.
Oh yeah, like especially early on in this discussion, but we're not going to get to there just yet, because in 1991, City Hunter did get its first representation in live action form, even though it's not an official adaptation. It does have elements present within it, starting with Savior of the Soul, starring sorry, I need some water. Starring Andy Liu, who which I believe that is the proper pronunciation. I've heard Lao and Lu, so feel free to correct me on that. And while it's not exactly a City Hunter film, it does take plot beats from the original City Hunter, mainly with how it's centered around the drama pertaining to a villain who appears in the second season of City Hunter, where he's basically going about running amok. And there is and there's this group consisting of not Rio, not Seiko, not Hideyuki, and basically the villain during his rampage like kills one of them, and there's this story of vengeance that's in play, and there's also a little bit of romance in there as well. Mifune described Savior of the Soul in his retrospective on live action City Hunter projects as okay. It feels weird saying modern when talking about a 1991 film, but let's say an updated take on a fairy tale, because it does have this sort of fantastical elements that it's not exactly City Hunter in that regard, but they can work in that sort of universe, which again, it's kind of weird to talk about, considering that this is not a City Hunter film, yet it has elements pulled from City Hunter. Like, as you can see, Andy is dressed exactly like Rio in this image.
Like, if you're colorblind, I mean.
Yeah, you're right. He's not wearing the red shirt.
Or the black pants. Well, was he wearing he was wearing the black pants, I guess.
I don't know. The copy I was watching on is kind of degraded, so it's a little hard to tell. as for my thoughts on Savior of the Soul, it's actually not a bad film. Like it's actually really enjoyable. The like the choreography in itself is very creative at points. The way it incorporates the set design is very good as well. There is some pretty good drama in there, especially one moment that just comes out of nowhere that I won't steal anyone's thunder here. I'll let one of y'all bring it up, whoever feels like it. So
Can I
Mifune,
give a little bit more background to this? Just for the
yes,
movie?
go ahead.
Because I have a lot of mutuals who are very adept Hong Kong cinema fans. I know they're going to want to hear about this a little bit. So, Savior of the Soul, also known as, I guess it's called The Good and the Bad in the Philippines. I didn't know that. I mean, everyone in this movie is fairly good looking, so I don't think there's an ugly here. But this movie stars, right? It stars
The
Andy.
viewer is ugly, aka me.
Aw. Actually, Lily, can you tell me, is his last name said Lau or Lu?
Andy Lau.
Well, there you
I
go.
say Lau. I say Lau.
All right. Well, it stars Andy Lau. It also stars the late, great Anita Mui. I hope I said her last name. She is like a legend in Hong Kong. She's basically the Madonna of Canto Pop, if I'm correct in that.
Yes.
Am I correct in that?
Yes.
She's basically like she was a huge star, actress, and singer. She was a great actress. She starred in a lot of big movies like Miracles with Jackie Chan and Drunken Master 2. And Heroic Trio and its sequel, The Executioners, with Maggie Cheung and Michelle Yeoh. I don't know why that was the name that took me the longest to remember from that movie. But yeah, it also stars them. It stars it stars Aaron. I hope I'm not. Lily can correct me if I'm saying this wrong. Aaron Kwok as Silver Fox, who, like Titan Goju said, shares the name with a villain from the show, but I don't think it was been a long time since I've seen that episode. I'm pretty sure they're very, very different, if not completely different characters. And Andy Lau and Aaron Kwok are both not only actors, but they're mostly famous for being singers. They're actually part of the 4 heavenly kings of Cantopop in China, in Hong Kong. The other two being... Who are the other two? I'm going to slap myself for not remembering. The other two are Leon Lai and Jackie Cheung. Not Jackie Chan, Jackie Cheung. So basically, there's a lot of famous people in this movie. And it was directed by Corey Yun, David Lai, and Jeffrey Lau, who are very famous in the world of action cinema. Corey Yun directed movies like Yes, Madam, with Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock, Righting Wrong with Yun Biao and Cynthia Rothrock, and co-directed Dragons Forever with Jackie Chan, Yun Biao, and Sammo Hung. And Jeffrey Lau directed Chinese Odyssey with Stephen Chow, among other films. And this movie has a screenplay credit by Wong Kar-wai, who, if the audience doesn't know, super famous cinema darling across the world. Chungking Express, Fallen Angels, In the Mood for Love. So a lot of talented people worked on this movie.
Yeah, I was especially surprised seeing Wong Kar-wai's name in the credits there, and it really makes this movie all the more interesting, to be honest, because you have all these big stars who fans of Chinese cinema will easily recognize in a heartbeat, and you're kind of seeing them all together in this little point in time where it's before they blew up, and it honestly makes for a very intriguing footnote in not just their careers, but I'd say in Chinese cinema in general.
Oh, we also got one more. I don't remember her being in the movie, but none other than Karina Lau, the famous actress, singer, and wife of Tony Leung, is also in this movie.
Yeah, like at this point, I'm kind of surprised Tony Leung isn't in this movie.
I was gonna say you made a point about
He
how
probably would have died.
about how it is interesting how it's basically imagine like you make a movie and you just decide I'm gonna put characters from my favorite anime or manga in this, and I'm not gonna tell anyone. I'm not gonna pay for the rights for anything. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But kind of to go on with your initial question after that massive information spiel, this is barely a City Hunter movie, but it is also very fun, I think. Like, it is, well, I don't want to know. I don't know if it's hard to, well, I had a very bad experience with my first watch of this because the version I watched, which was many, many years ago, I watched it, and this is something that frustrates, I'm sure, anyone who tries to watch a movie online subtitled. The audio got out of sync around the last half of the movie, so I had to watch an unsubbed copy and the subbed copy simultaneously, kind of moving one window above the other and just trying to line them up correctly so I can get the subs in the right spot. But movie making tip: you should put Goku in every movie. Just don't tell me when it's Goku. Exactly, Space Tree Studios. That is another movie that we weren't talking about today, but I'm sure we'll reference somewhere down the line. And just kind of, there's a thing where like Billy Mount the third said his City of the Soul taken serious, unlike City Hunter. There is definitely a lot less intentional comedy in Savior of the Soul. It's much more of a fantasy style movie mixed with wuxia. It's mixed with wuxia.
Yeah.
I will forever be haunted by the way I mispronounced that. I will forever be haunted by that because I literally said it that way it's spelled, and I will never live that down. All I can say is I've never heard anyone say that word until I wrote that episode.
Well, how did you say it in the episode?
I ain't saying it.
Did you say wuxia?
No, actually, I didn't.
Davis, what do you say? since he's not going to budge.
It's okay, Mafudi. I'm still being haunted by my Godzilla video.
But yeah, it's definitely much more its own thing. But I still think it's a very fun movie. Corey Ewan, I believe he choreographed this, and he is like one of the top tier choreographers in Hong Kong cinema. And anyone who has seen Yes Madam or The Hero with Takeshi Kaneshiro and Yun Biao can attest to he is a master at martial arts, and this has very much the same level of expertise here. So I would say this movie is a lot of fun. It's a bit hard to follow in spaces, and if you're going for the if you're a City Hunter fan going into this, you will see the similarities, but just know that this isn't like a 1-to-1 adaptation. It's like a 1-to-7 adaptation. But it's a lot of fun. It's a fun movie.
Oh, hi, Cole. Bro, looking like Bruce Campbell in this picture.
Is that good?
All right. What can I say?
I think you're the last. You actually saw this movie yesterday, I think, right?
Yes. I watched it alongside Mr. Mumble.
Like at the same time?
Not at the same time. I don't have two monitors.
You can just use one window and the next window.
Sure. What can I say?
I'm going to get through the K-drama.
It was definitely a very interesting experience. I would say that it was very hard to follow. And it probably doesn't help that the link that Davis shared with me, from what I've heard, half of it uses an old Laserdisc copy, which is why the quality just drops. and it randomly has like subtitles on top of the closed captions that are on the YouTube copy.
This is how anime should be subtitled.
Honestly, yes.
Honestly, that's how Shin Godzilla is subtitled.
Funimation, no, it wasn't.
Not so fast. I did really love Andy Lau as the esteemed. Let me see if I can get his name right. Jing. He's definitely the I'd say between all of the actors who played him in Hong Kong cinema, I would say Andy Lau is probably the best one. When I look at him, I can definitely think like, yeah, that's real. That's real. And this isn't because I can imagine him just doing a mokoli dance. I liked Anita Moy. Obviously, I mean, who doesn't love fucking the Canto Madonna? The person who sold out in Hammersmith. Though I did find May a bit of an odd character because she just disappears from like a good chunk of the movie, and when she shows up, she's just a part of this like cult for some reason. And I do like that Anita Moy plays her sister Yui Mei, which I don't know if that's like a guy like ADRing or is that actually Anita Moy, but the voice that her sister has is just so funny.
I believe it's I definitely think it's ADR.
Yeah, it sounds like it because it doesn't sound like Anita Moy.
Was this before? Because I know at one point in Hong Kong cinema, they used to always have to ADR everything over because of just how loud Hong Kong is to film in. Was this before or after more movies started doing like how use the sound that people are using on set?
I don't remember the answer to that question. I'll
Davis can edit it in.
No, Davis won't remember.
With the CGI alligator.
I'll let you know if I remember at the end of the stream. Aaron Guo as Silver Fox. I honestly thought he was probably the best one in the movie for how little he's actually in it.
Aaron Kwok, also known as not Ryu in Future Cops, and for the fantastic contribution to cinema that is China's Strike Force.
Oh, everybody remember Future Cops. I remember that. It's gonna come up later. I also was Corey Yoon getting to play that invisible doctor was funny too. Kenny B was there, I guess. I love the choreography in this movie. Like it's just you can always tell with a Corey Yuen movie if it's him by the wire work and like how a certain frame is shot. Like the part where Ching holds out his blade and it's shot like they're on the fucking ground doing it. Mm-hmm. That felt incredibly Korean. Or like the part where the leader of the ritual just fucking like jumped and it's like so like over the top when she does it. Like that's a trademark. That's a huge trademark. It's
thoughts
like,
on the yo-yo fight?
Yo-yo fight versus the duck gun. I mean, the yo-yo fight wins.
Rio or the magic lizard? Who's the magic?
What is it again? What was it called again, Davis?
No, it's it is magic lizard. But to answer your question, Rio easily one-shots Magic Lizard. I'm just saying.
Oh, we're power scaling all the Ryuseiba actors now.
But one thing I was shocked by was that one of the people who did the music for this movie was Anthony Lunn, who has worked with very prominent C-pop idols, including Eun Guo and Anita Mui and Andy Lau, but also even worked with like Jackie Chan and Faye Wong, Sandy Lam.
Jackie Chan, the singer?
Yeah. And Salie. So like that just keeps stacking, like how this is like one of those like one off once in a lifetime kind of movies where it's like you have like an ingredient for like something incredibly special, and it is. I just wish Wong Kar-wai wasn't such a mid-writer for City Hunter.
I'm reminded of that movie where they're making fun of Wong Kar-wai's. I think it was Ashes of Time, and it's just it's just people like watching this movie where a bunch of people with swords are spinning around, and then someone saying, "I want to kill the dude who wrote this." Who directed this? And then the actor playing Wong Kar-wai is just sitting there like, "Yeah, you should."
Well, Davis, what about you?
At least Wong Kar-wai did get better.
Did he?
Was this one of the movies he like took part in when Ashes of Time was? No, it wasn't. This is before Ashes of Time was like in.
No, I think that was Eagle Shooting Heroes.
Right, and kind of an aside, going on the Wong Kar-wai tangent. Leon Lai and Fallen Angels would honestly make for a good. Actually, Takeshi kind of. We have a lot of actors who would have been very good to play Rio.
Yeah,
including
and
Andy Lau.
Yeah, and who was the one who ended up giving me an official one?
And also, just to kind of just add to the avalanche of talent in this movie, cinematography. Well, one of them was I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, Peter Pao, who. This is quite the list of movies. John Woo's The Killer. Savior of the Soul, which we're doing now, Eagle Shooting Heroes.
Yeah, there it is. Eagle Shooting Heroes.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Seed of Chucky. No, Bride of Chucky. And everyone's favorite 90s movie with a very famous basketball star, Choi Hark's Double Team.
Is that good?
Yes, that's a great movie. Choi Hark should have directed a City Hunter movie, honestly, too.
For real.
Too bad it wasn't Kazam.
Honestly,
Right,
Dennis Rod, Shaquille O'Neal would make a good Umibozu, honestly.
Okay, I would honestly love to see that. All right, so not too long ago, it was mentioned how there is an entire ocean of actors who could honestly pull off Ryuseiba. And of course, we're moving on to the next one with perhaps the least fit actor to play Ryuseiba.
Hey, that's the Chun-Li one. That's the Chun-Li one. Everybody post that GIF in chat, everyone.
Jackie, I'm sorry. You made Police Story, but you probably should have sat this one out. Not gonna lie.
Okay, I'm just going to mention Police Story here real quick. So like Police Story, like not only is it like a masterpiece, but like it honestly has a pretty good blueprint for a City Hunter movie. Like Jackie Chan, I mean, even though he doesn't look the part, he could definitely like have the chops to play Rio if you watch if you watch Police Story. But like the most damning thing about it, in my opinion, is that Bridget Lin isn't Kaori. Instead, we have Joey Wong, who like, no offense to Joey Wong, but you are not Kaori.
Joey Wong, you are a fantastic actress. You are one of the most stunning actresses in Hong Kong cinema. But you're not Kyo. I am very sorry to say this. You're not.
So yes, this is Wong Jing's City Hunter from 1993, which is probably the piece of City Hunter media that everyone here in North America is familiar with. Likely because of Jackie Chan dressed up as Chun-Li, which is also
No, really?
the only people seem to remember from this film. Admittedly, I don't remember too much from this movie myself, aside from the fact that they're on a boat.
I admit it, you like it.
They're on a boat. Wong Jing's repeated usage of extremely dated humor about certain subjects.
The hamburgers.
The game of death fight. The fact that the movie stops halfway through to have a radio DJ cameo dance number. What's it called? Waka Waka. I don't remember the song.
But yeah, Jackie Chan City Hunter from 1993. I mentioned before that like it does seem like your typical Jackie Chan adventure, but when you compare it to like his other films, especially that of Drunken Master, Police Story, Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, Wheels on Meals, it's unfortunately more in the lower tier where it's nowhere like it doesn't have as much energy as those films. It's not as bombastic as
I would
it
argue
should
there's
be.
too much energy on display in this movie.
Not the energy. I should probably rephrase that. It doesn't have the energy that you're expecting from from a Jackie Chan film, let alone an adaptation of City Hunter. So on both fronts, I did find this one a little bit disappointing looking back on it, even though I did enjoy it the first time I saw it. But what do y'all think of Wong Jing's City Hunter, starting with Mifune?
Okay, so I just answered a quick question from Billy Mount III. This movie came out the year after Police Story 3, Super Cop. So yeah, this was a movie that Jackie Chan made, I believe, in the interim while he was still making. No, that can't be right. Hold on, I need to fact check myself. When Armor of God 2 came out, because that was okay. No, okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense because I remember reading somewhere that he made this while producing Operation Condor, but I don't think so because of the release date difference. But yeah, for those who don't know, Wong Jing directed this movie. He's basically like the Roger Corman fused with Michael Bay of Hong Kong cinema of the 90s, where like he made a ton of movies. I'm pretty sure this is like one of 5 movies he directed in 1993 alone. And he's very much a people's director. He makes movies. He makes a lot of big hits that are like successful with critics and audiences, like God of Gamblers with Chai Yun-fat and True Crimes, True Gang, True Mob Story with Andy Lau. But he also makes a lot of movies that are like basically kind of big budget, like kind of lowbrow humor, exploitation style movies, which were often mauled by critics, but are loved by audiences. And this movie being kind of in that same realm where like they are lowbrow, but they are fun. And I think this movie is a lot of fun too. And I always will owe this movie the fact that it is my introduction to the franchise as a whole. But it is, it's definitely very far from the source material. Jackie Chan, I love him as an actor, love him as a director. I think that, like Davis said, he could have easily been a great Ryusei based on his work on like not only Police Story, but Armor God, Crime Story, all those kind of movies. And to his credit, I think he wanted to make this movie more serious, but he kind of hired Wong Jing just to get this movie done fast, so that it could be a New Year's movie for 1993. In fact, the opening of this film, if you watch the subtitle version, where it opens with Gong Hei Fat Choi, which means Happy New Year, Happy Chinese New Year. And I'm trying to think of anything else about this. Yeah, the action is very fun, a lot more over the top than I think a lot of his movies tend to be. Want more comedy based, a lot of great fights. You got like Gary Daniels as one of the henchmen. Ken Lo briefly appears as one of the henchmen too, and the last fight with Richard Norton as the bad guy on the boat is very fun. But it is kind of like, it starts off a bit like a more comedic, like cartoon come to life version of City Hunter in like the first 20 minutes. You know, you have a story where this rich guy comes to Rio and Kaori, who says, you know, hey, my daughter's gone missing. And, you know, that stuff, that's something that you would see from the manga or the anime itself. But then it kind of transitions to Die Hard on a boat, for lack of better terms. And to kind of bring the casting a bit back, I do think, now I really hope I'm saying her name right. I'm probably not going to say her name right just because her last name is very hard to pronounce, but let me see right here. Shoot. I know we said that Jackie Chan was no, he would make a good serious one, but he's probably not the most actor casting. Joey Wong isn't particularly good. I will say Ching Mai Yao. Please tell me I said that right. Ching Mai Yao as Seigo Nogami is fairly good casting, I'd say. In fact, I'd say something you'll see across these movies is that she is the most consistently well-casted character.
Oh, yeah.
And she's good in this, I would say. And we also have Leon Lai, who plays just a cameo as like as a kind of an XP character from what you'd see from like God of Gamblers, who also happens to be, I think, would have probably been a better choice to play Rio. But I do think this is a fun movie. This is a fun movie. I still enjoy watching it. It's just very far from what City Hunter is. And I won't say it like damaged perception of the brand, but I will say it is annoying to see people, whenever they look the new one, they say, oh, why are they doing a remake of the Jackie Chan movie? I'm just saying, no, it is not a remake of that movie. Other explicitives that I cannot say on Twitter, but yeah, it is not a remake of that movie. But yeah, still a lot of fun. It's just not really City Hunter.
All right, Lily, what are your thoughts?
I think I would say, even compared to like Savior of the Soul, I would say this one's the loosest you get in terms of adaptation. Like, it has the same bullet points, a little bit more than Savior of the Soul, but this one I think feels the more like the opposite end of a spectrum of Savior of the Soul, where like instead of getting what a real who like isn't as quippy and obviously is less mokori, you're getting all mokori, you're getting all comedy, but you don't really get like that serious role at all. It's and I especially find this particular role a bit too, I guess, flanderized based on like I guess stereotypes of like a perverted like investigator or hitman. And he doesn't really seem like he is good at his job at all.
I think in the comments, Space Tree Studios, he made that point where like he's a bit incompetent in this movie. He's very hungry too.
Yeah, he wants hamburger.
Yeah. I do remember that one part where he looks at a woman and starts imagining her as fried chicken.
Yeah, he was looking at
That's the American citizen right there.
He was looking at Seiko's partner, Kasumi, and he imagined her breasts as hamburger buns, her and her arm as a chicken wing, and her legs as drumsticks. And
another point where I think Billy Math the Third again. Yes, this movie does feature, I believe, original artwork from Tsukasa Hojo,
yes, I believe.
but
so.
I have never found out what he thought of this movie.
Well, what can
Maybe
I
we'll
say?
never know. And
Maybe he's like, "Oh yeah, that was a good movie."
Yeah, it was. Joey Wong as Cowley was very weird. Like honestly, between like the Four Flowers of Hong Kong cinema, honestly, I probably would have preferred like Rosamund Kwan instead.
Mhm.
Or I guess even Maggie Chung, because I mean, if anyone's seen Irma Vep, she can rock it. I think the big thing about Joey Wong is that maybe it would have been more convincing if it was actually Kaoli-san, because she's a bit too, I guess, say childish. She doesn't really feel like the character from the manga.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like she doesn't even dress like her. Like even Jackie dresses like Ro for the most part.
Is this Kino Kiori in name only?
Maybe.
Well, her hair needs to be about like 2 feet shorter, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
For anyone knows that if you don't understand that reference, watch Savior of the Soul.
please.
Yeah, I do agree that Qingmi Yao is a really great Seiko-san. She definitely captures her overall like central personality traits. Like she's obviously like sexy, but she's like she can hold her own, she can fight. Like she doesn't need Ryo to like save her at all. And she is obviously very intolerant of his Mokori behavior. His perfect Aladdin shenanigans.
And can I just add real quick? Everyone gasses up the Chun-Li fight, the dance fight with not even the dance fight, the dance shootout with Rio and Psycho when she can't get her gun out of her thigh holster is probably the funnest bit of choreography in the film, I think.
For sure.
Honestly, yes.
I do think the choreography is a bit, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like it's definitely like fun and like exciting, but like I think coupled with the attempts at having like cartoonish sound effects, which are a trait of a lot of Wong Jing's like more like comedic movies, like Future Cops, Tricky Brain has a couple. Anybody here seen Tricky Brain? Come on. Great movie.
I have Kino Brain.
I know you have. I convinced you to watch it.
I've not seen it. I do. I do want to watch it though.
Sure. I do the breezing through the backstory with Makimura. I do find I appreciate that they kind of just run it down in the beginning, but I mean, come on, Michael Wong, he should have been Euro. Like
I'm not gonna lie.
He looks the part.
Of them if I showed you the part of the movie where they're shaking hands, Jackie and Rio, who do you think is the Rio in the movie? Him or Michael Wong?
Yeah, and it's funny because this isn't like the first time he's worked with Jackie. He did Thunderbolt with him.
So
he also
the second time.
He also was in Skip Trace. I hope nobody remembers that movie, but I do.
That movie does not exist.
It was I really like seeing Richard Norton. Richard Norton is a very fun actor. For you Americans, you may remember him from the 2016 Suicide Squad.
He also
um,
did, I think, stunts on one of the X-Men movies, if not multiple.
he was in Dark Phoenix. He was in
Oh,
Dark
boy.
Phoenix. He
no.
Wait, which Suicide Squad was he in?
both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty. He was he was also a fight coordinator on them.
And he also fought Andy Lau in the Magic Crystal.
Yes.
Magic Lizard?
Sure.
I need to see this Magic Lizard movie. Is Rio in
What
it?
have I done?
You have to watch it with Davis though, so that way he could drop his hot take on it.
God damn.
Anyway, what I think one of the sorely missed parts about this adaptation is that there's no Umibozu. And I think and Umibozu is a mark of whether or not you're having a great City Hunter adaptation. Real ones know. If you've ever seen Nikki Larson, greatest movie ever made. I forgive the French only twice.
Philippe Lachaud is Francis Rose.
But yeah, I did find the Wong Jing's humor like I'm used to his humor, but it's
Are you though?
here. Sure. I think here it's particularly egregious. Like in Tricky Brains, I feel like it made sense, especially with Stephen Chow's character. He's like the fucking like weirdest person ever, but he also has mad riz. Mufuni knows what I'm talking about. Potentially
the greatest person ever.
Yes. What can I say? I would honestly say the best part of this movie is easily that prologue. That's like the most City Hunter part of the entire movie.
With a little bit of what's it called? What's that movie called? A little bit of Dick Tracy in it too.
Yeah, which honestly, is good if you're gonna like pull like any possible inspirations for City Hunter. I would say Dick Tracy isn't too far off, especially with Hojo's age and demographic. I'm calling you old.
Got that whole Roger Moore thing going on.
I'll be honest, the Street Fighter part of this movie is I don't really get why it's in this movie. I know like
really like Street Fighter.
I guess. I mean, this was like what the sixth movie he directed and wrote in 1993.
Yes,
because there was the second Fight Back to School, there was Future Cops, there was oh god, hold on, I gotta pull up that filmography because I have to discount his writing credits.
Cinema's greatest vulgar auteur one.
Yeah, yes, he did Holy Weapon. He did Last Hero in China.
I really want to watch Holy Weapon.
You can't say one of those titles on this stream.
Well, he didn't direct it, so I can't really count it.
Okay.
He did Legend of the Liquid Sword, and he did Kung Fu Cult Master. And if you count the writing and producing credits, he worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 movies in 1993.
And he also worked
Jesus
on
Christ.
Boys Are Easy, which is a great movie with not every Hong Kong's cinema's roses in that, but at least 2 of them are.
Yes.
And Bridget Lin, who should also be one. And he also did a movie that is considered The Sting 2. I don't know how Robert Redford feels about that, but
and we can connect this back to Samahang real quick. Wong Jing did work on the 5th Lucky Stars movie.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I can
Which
only imagine how the humor of that one has aged, considering
no
the second and third one.
no different than the original Lucky Stars, right? I feel like this is the one where I remember the music the least as well. Like, I'm gonna be honest, that City Hunter song in this movie, that fucking sucks, man. It fucking sucks.
It ain't no downtown game, that's for sure.
No. Like,
what do you think of the Looney Tunes theme that plays in the movie?
Sure, why not?
The
I
Looney
guess.
Tunes ass theme.
I do find that maybe the one major knack I'll have for this movie that isn't the fact that I don't like it that much. I feel like it's a little boring when it isn't the fighting. Like, I don't really care for the main plot. It feels like it feels like if you had a 13-year-old write a police story and then combined it.
Police Story 4?
Maybe it wouldn't be as good as Super Cop 2, though.
True.
And
just
the blackface in this movie. There's also blackface in this movie.
A Wong Jing trademark.
Yes, of course. Some sort of faces in these movies. What else can I say?
What can you say?
What can I say? I'd say out of all the movies here, this one's probably the one with the weakest cinematography. Which I guess more or less tracks, since we had like 3 different cinematographers.
If I remember correctly, Wong Jing was like writing some of the stuff like on the go too.
Yeah, that's pretty typical of his movies, honestly.
I mean, what a lazy bum! Why didn't he make like 10 movies? Don't he just direct 10 of them? It's lazy. Only 6 movies directed in 1 year.
Weak shit, honestly. I think I'm pretty sure most of it was actually like ad-libbing. And it is kind of funny that Gary Daniels during the filming of this movie, he took time off to work on Albert Pion's low budget movie called Nights.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Nobody's seen this movie, by the way.
I have.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Which also came out in 1993. I'm pretty sure this came out the same day as the 3rd Fight Back to School movie. So make of that as you will.
God, why do they keep fighting back to school? Why can't they just stay there?
Thanks, Will.
One day I will watch. I don't watch movies. I watch films.
Never animation.
Also, yes, rest in peace to Albert Pion, who directed Cyborg, which Davis, I'm sure, will remember.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing Cyborg.
Are we gonna see Fist of the North Star in live action from Davis at some point?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
You'll find the hidden Korean drama and the French adaptation.
God, there are like 5 unofficial Fist of the North Star live action films. I think 3 of them are just called Fist of the North Star. There's one that's called Legend of the Fist of the North Star, and then the Korean one is called the Northern Region or something like that.
The nether regions. I mean that's pretty much all I have to say about this movie. I did watch it with the Eureka video release. Very beautiful 2K restoration. If you live in Europe, I know, gross.
You just alienated an entire third of the City Hunter fan base right now. I hope you're happy.
Good. That's great. Or
More like half of it.
All of it, honestly.
France, don't worry, you're one of the good ones.
A few times. I just lost track. Fuck you guys.
It's okay.
What was I talking about?
Eureka.
Oh, if you live in Europe or have a region-free player, I would definitely recommend picking it up. If not for the extras, which are very nice. And you get to see very lovely Hojo art of Roseba in the credits. That's about it.
Is that your favorite part of the movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie did not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you want to watch this movie, sure. Just don't talk to me.
This movie did not get a sequel, but it did inspire another movie from Wong Jing.
However, you want to know what did get a sequel? Kinda.
Savior of the Soul.
Savior of the Soul.
Yeah.
Even though I say kinda.
And you say kinda.
What can I say?
And.
What can I say?
But yeah, Jackie Chan and Wong Jing famously did not get along well with this movie in this movie. Because Jackie did not like the way he directed it, and he wanted this movie to be a bit more serious. So I think he kind of publicly dissed him, saying, I think he just straight up said, like, what was the exact... I can't remember the exact phrase. I think he said, like, you're basically a Category 3 director, which, if you know that Category 3 is, like, very violent movies, but also, like, borderline pornographic movies.
Yeah.
Can you say that word on YouTube?
Davis, I hope you weren't planning on making money.
You can censor that. Borderline people doing the funky monkey dance.
Borderline that found media that's part of that one thing.
What? I only know about lost media, as in the stuff I can't find on YouTube.
As in the stuff I don't care about.
Anyway. So basically Wong Jing did a public diss movie starring Jet Li called High Risk, where Jet Li plays the bodyguard and stuntman of a famous actor who is played by Jackie Chung. And in the movie, Jackie Chung's character fakes doing his own stunts, drinks a lot of booze, is a womanizer, and also has a small penis. I wish I made that last part up, and I wish I didn't know why that was part of the diss, but you watch High Risk, which is a fun movie, but is like the most petty example of a diss track in cinema history, I think.
I can just imagine Wong Jing saying, "Jackie Chan, you have a small dick. It's about the size of a walnut."
I mean, it's funny because you can see the outtakes from City Hunter of Jackie Chan getting hurt.
I've come to make an announcement. Jackie Chan is a bitch ass motherfucker. He pissed on my wife.
I mean, knowing what we know about Jackie, at least one of those things is true.
Was that good?
I mean, I mean, no. Yes, yeah, it's good. I guess. From a certain point of view, it's good. From a child support point of view, it's probably good.
Oh,
Jackie Chan's son and daughter. Not so fast.
Okay.
You made Police Story. You made Police Story.
He made Armor of God. He made Armor of God.
He may see.
Anyways, how are we feeling
so
tonight, folks?
He made Skip Trace. Oh,
folks, how are
I
we
saw a
feeling
comment
tonight?
earlier. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I love Johnny Knoxville. I like Jackie Chan's movies. That movie was not it. It made me depressed for a week. Because
Folks,
I watched that and Bulletproof Monk like in the same weekend.
how are we feeling tonight?
Hi.
Hi guys.
I don't actually dislike Police Story 4. It just doesn't have Maggie Chung, so it's inherently weaker than the first three.
True.
All right, I think it's time to move on.
Jackie, I'm sorry. I still like Police Story.
Jackie, I liked Dragons Forever.
I like Wheels on Wheels too.
I like Dr. Slump. It's okay.
How
Slump movie?
How are we feeling tonight?
Tonight?
Yes, how
sun
are
is
we
out.
how are I mean it's 8 o'clock where I'm at. Okay, how are we
Skill
feeling
issue.
as of current?
Are you doing a bit and I'm just too dumb
Yes,
to tell?
I am doing a bit.
What can I say?
Anyways,
Answer that. Wait, we should answer the question. If City Hunter anime had an English dub with English VAs, who would you have cast as Ryo Seiba, Kiari Nakamura, Saiko, Umiozu, etc.? Thank you, Donnie, but I don't know a lot of English voice actors. I'm not gonna lie.
boo.
That's a good question.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah, definitely Ryan Reynolds as Ryo Seiba. I think we can all agree that'd be like
honestly, Vin Diesel as Umibozu would be great casting. Actually, wait, hold on, Foodie. I might be cooking there.
I
I'm
think
sorry,
it's
but
time we should start talking about Mr. Mumble now.
A disaster. This is a bigger disaster than Jackie Chan and Wong Jing's relationship.
Yes. Shut up.
Almost as big a disaster as his relationship with Lau Kar Long on Drunken Master 2. Almost as big a disaster as him and Kirk Wong's relation on... You know, he has a lot of problems with directors trying to just do their thing.
Anyway.
Okay, so we went from having a City Hunter movie it's not actually a City Hunter movie but has City Hunter things, to an official City Hunter movie that's not really City Hunter despite being a City Hunter movie, to an unofficial City Hunter movie that is full on City Hunter through and through mostly. This is 1996's Mr. Mumble with Michael Chow as Rio, and I am totally gonna butcher this pronunciation. I'm just gonna.
I feel like I know what name you're talking about too.
Hongning.
Yes, Hongning as Umibozu, which is interesting because this is like the first time Umibozu has had a proper introduction and adaptation in any of these films.
And he's good.
Yeah, he
that's great.
Yeah,
Okay, now David, say the name of the movie.
Mr. Mumble.
No,
Mangbo,
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, say that one.
Mangbo.
aka City Hunter 2, aka Nikki Larson, probably in France.
Nikki Larson and the Umubozu attack.
That sounds like a Godzilla movie.
That's great.
Now, Davis, try and say more names in the cast.
Anyways, I was going to get back to what I was talking about earlier. The inclusion of Umibozu is also particularly interesting because in the source material, he was definitely more of a supporting character, whereas here he is. Well, granted, he's still a supporting character, but he's much more in the forefront here. Basically being like a Rio's sidekick, whereas in the source material it was like a completely different dynamic all around.
He's in the manga and anime. He's basically Rio's frenemy, rival, occasional ally. That kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
Lover. I'm just kidding. Not that part.
You wish.
Maybe.
Is that
We
good?
all wish. Yeah. Mr. Mumble takes a lot from the source material and basically pretty much sets itself up as it's I don't want to say the standard, but like a standard for the time when it comes to City Hunter adaptations. And I just want to first talk about the costume design in this movie. It is very incredible how they were able to take the outfits that are from that are from the source material and not necessarily just do articles of clothing that like match what's in the pages or on screen of the anime, but they're also pretty vibrant, and it also really helps add to the overall aesthetic of Mr. Mumble in the sense that it does feel like a comic book that has been brought to life. Same with how the action is choreographed and filmed, and especially when it comes to all the actors and their mannerisms and the music, which was the bit I was alluding to when y'all just fucked it up.
I'm so dumb.
Yes, you are.
Well, just stand by me and we can get this together.
It's but
If you need me, I'll be there, Davis.
You're already here. But anyway, I Feel Good by Richie Jen is an absolute banger. I have it in my workout playlist. I always be sure to try to put in the loop as much as I can, because what can I say? It's a good song, makes me feel good. That's I Feel Good for you. Mifune, thoughts on Mr. Mumble?
So, yeah, I just want to do a quick shout out to a channel real quick. Let me just look through my mentions real quick. I have notes for this. Let me do a quick shout out to actually a YouTube channel called SR Media. They have uploaded potentially the best looking copy of this movie. They also have Savor the Soul, but this is like an incredible looking copy of Mr. Mumble, aka Mangbo. And I was like shocked to think this movie would ever even look this good, because I've seen it on some pretty bad transfers. But yeah, and so basically to kind of add your point, yeah, this movie, I'm not sure if Michael Chow is a fan of City Hunter, but he did write, star in, obviously, potentially directed depending on the credits you see, but this movie is basically very accurate to the source material in terms of the character dynamics. There's some differences here, like Rio's in the movie starts out as a sniper for the Hong Kong police, who is his skirt chasing antics end up getting him fired. So he bunks up with Umibozu on his
He's had too much red.
literally. But yeah, he bunks up with Umibozu, which he kind of already lives above his restaurant, but they kind of hang out together, and he eventually finds a woman by the name of what's her name in the movie? I
it
forgot
should
her.
be. I'm pretty sure it might be Yuki or Cher.
Mm-hmm. Cher, correct, Cher. And her name, it's played by Pauline Sun, who is she is the daughter of a crime boss. And at first, Rio, tries to use his Riz on her, does not work. And in the beginning of the movie, we actually get the feeling that Rio is a bit like portrayed almost weakly in the first part of the movie. I was actually surprised by that in the first showing, but then when stuff actually goes down, he locks in. He has that little kind of effect where when something goes down, everything goes dark except his eyes, kind of a very comic booky type of Spidey sense almost. And he just locks in, he just kicks and takes names. And he eventually becomes her bodyguard at the service to her father, because she's basically part of this thing where someone assassinated her would-be suitor, and now the assassins are after her. And it leads to a lot of fun stuff. Like I said, the I Feel Good montage, which is pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually you find out that the plot eventually it ends with a conspiracy within the Hong Kong Police Department. Do we want to talk about how this movie handles Kaori, or should I leave that as a spoiler?
You can go ahead and talk about it.
So, without trying to spoil too much, Kaori is in this movie as a woman who keeps trying to hunt down Ryo Seiba, or in this movie, Meng Bo, and she's played by Jessica Swan, who was also in Hero, not the Jet Li version, the one with Yun Biao and Takeshi Kaneshiro. And she tries to get him through the whole movie, and eventually, because in this version of the story, her father was the former, I guess you can say, mentor of Ryo in the police force, but he was corrupt, he was taking bribes, and he kills himself. Crap, you can't say that on YouTube either, I think. He stops aliving by his own hand, and Ryo takes the fall for him, basically says that, I did this to him, I killed him, just so he can get
his body just did that there.
Just so this version of KRE called Waihan can get that kind of insurance money. And so Umibozu goes on a giant thing explaining that that's why Ryo uses a red shirt, because of the blood of his mentor. And he uses the blue blazer to remind him of the sky so he can be happier. And he wears black pants just because they look good, I think. And very end of this movie, to give the iconic, not using a hammer, using a very, very heavy bag, the iconic slam to Ryo to the ground. And also, we didn't mention this before, and this is going to be the hardest name for me to pronounce. It's not even a Chinese name. Francois? Yep. That's how you say her name, right?
Yes.
Wow, that was easier than I thought. Anyway, she, who some of you will recognize as the sister from Rumble in the Bronx, one of the henchwomen from Romeo Must Die who fought Jet Li and Ailia. And she's also in Alien vs. Predator Requiem, everyone's favorite alien movie.
Yeah, when you could see her.
At the very end. She's also in Black Mask as another person who fights Jet Li. She was the one with short hair, I believe. And she is, again, I must say, the one thing these movies can do right is cast Seiko, because she has a good dynamic with Ryo in this movie. And I'm pretty sure the plot of this movie was lifted actually from one of the manga stories. Quick shout out to this YouTube channel called Comic Book Movie Oblivion. I actually kind of preferably just want to hear other perspectives on the movie. They did mention how this does share a lot of similarities with a manga story. because I'm currently an anime only plebeian, but I want to fix that. And I just want to. You're gonna need like 30 minutes. I'm gonna talk about like Michael Chow. He brings it as Ryoseba. I don't know if he's a fan, but he has the right build, the right hair, the right like mix of comedy and capable of being a bit more serious.
He is him.
And he is built like a brick house in this movie. There is like several scenes where he is just flexing for the camera. And I use the same philosophy like what Jean-Claude Van Damme once said, you know, if you got it, you just got to show it on screen. There is a whole part of the movie where it's just one of those spinning Michael Bay camera techniques where it's just showing all his muscles flexing. I would not be surprised if he had like a pair of like 40, if he had a pair of 40 pounders on hand, just, you know, get a pump going. But yeah, I would compare it kind of like to the Tim Burton Batman movies where like they changed some stuff to a significant degree, but they get enough right and they get the vibe right to where it's a solid adaptation. I would say of the three we've seen so far, as much of a probably low budget this movie had, I'd say it's definitely it's the one I like the most so far. And like David said, great soundtrack. The song, the reggae song, If You Need Me, I'll Be There. I am so frustrated because I cannot find that song anywhere. But it's a good one, as is I Feel Good. Lily, I'm sorry I went on like a giant tangent on that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I definitely agree that this is probably so far the most faithful. I think it nails the vibe down. It doesn't have any of like what you'd commonly associate in the color palette of City Hunter, especially the first season. But I would say it nails the costume design in terms of like season 1 City Hunter. But the overall like how it's shot feels more like seasons 2 and 3. The camera I do think the camera work is definitely showing signs of its budget. It can be particularly, I guess, crass and amateurish, which I could probably guess that was probably Michael Chow doing it. I haven't seen any, if at all, of Michael Chow's stuff besides Blue Story 2.
He's also in Miracles.
Oh,
that's the guy who arm wrestles Jackie. And he's in Fight Back to School too.
I wouldn't be. Oh, okay. So now this brings it back to Wong Jing again. So, fun fact: the rooftop at the beginning of this movie is the same one from Future Cops.
This is my Joker stairs. I need to visit that rooftop.
We should all go to the Future Cops Mr. Mumble rooftop and like declare it as like an actual monument.
This cannot be destroyed. This is history right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think this movie definitely is like the new City Hunter movies, that it has the middle ground, right? Ro feels like Ro. The tone is perfect. You get the like very slapsticky comedy of the series, but you also get its more serious like dramatic aspects. It knows not when to like break a dramatic moment with like very out of pocket humor. So far this is probably the most well casted of the City Hunter movies. I do think that François Yip She's probably thus far the perfect Seiko. And even Jessica Hassan, she's a very great calorie for how little we actually see her. Which isn't that much, but that's honestly fine. Calorie is not always in like a prominent role in every City Hunter story. I did appreciate some of the original characters. Like I liked the assassin played by Ricky Wong, who fun fact, was in The Killer.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And he was in Points of No Return. And in Queen of the Triads. Just for some casual mentions. It also had Chi Fai Chao, who was in Black Mask and
Hell yeah.
Tokyo Raiders. I'm generally shocked whenever like these low budget ventures tend to have like pretty like prominent actors, or like actors that like the average moviegoer in like 90s Hong Kong or China or even Taiwan would recognize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot of cameos in this movie, even if I don't know everyone.
Yeah, like Herman Chow. Oh no, not Chow. Herman Yao. He plays the guy in the red car who says words.
Oh boy.
He was the director of Ip Man: The Final Fight. He also directed Shockwave. And
other movies that I will probably never want to watch in my life, knowing the content of them.
Admit it, you like it.
No, not Untold Story.
No, you love it.
He is very famous Category 3 director, that's for sure. So it's probably fitting he has that line that he has.
Yeah, this also has Takbun Wong, who has played a robber in a New Police Story. For anybody who's actually watched that movie.
Yay.
Yeah, like that guy. It also has...
I know what that is.
Sure.
I love Hong Kong cinema.
It also has Money Law, who was in Police Story as the television interviewer. She was also in Shi Wu Yishang and Wang Lo as Candy. Nobody here knows what I just said, but that is the title of a movie. And I also really appreciated the story to this one. Honestly, so far this is like Mifune said, this feels like ripped straight out of like a story in like the manga or even the second or third season of the anime. It fits. It almost feels like an OVA.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to how like Nikki Larson feels. It feels like one of those like one-off OVAs that were made during the 90s that it provides everything you want out of a City Hunter story, but it still does its own things. Like this one has Umibozu stuck in a car door,
which is a Suzuki Cappuccino, which, if you don't know, that's a very, very small car.
Yes, very small car.
And Ryo earns the Mini Cooper in this movie.
Yeah. He does. I know I guess this is probably the best one to bring up since we did have two back-to-back kind of movies that do this. This movie does have a lot of very humor.
Yeah.
Which like the worst part of I think I'm probably the best one to bring it up because these are two obviously straight people. Until
we get to the part about the last 800 movie.
Yes. This has homophobia in it. This also has transphobia in it, which I guess, knowing City Hunter like I do, the homophobia part isn't too far off, unfortunately. The transphobia part definitely does. I'd say that one would be okay. If it wasn't for the fact that the woman in question just uses her dead voice afterward and says, "I'm a man." That part is the deal breaker of that one. I would say if they didn't have that part, it wouldn't be bad, especially compared to like the end of this movie.
City Hunter 93 and Mr. Mumble fighting for the most out of place homophobic remark in movie history.
But like beside those two things, which do bog down the movie for me, it still has a lot of the trademarks of City Hunter humor. Obvious slapstick. You have Jill being a perv and getting like his comeuppance over doing it, which, as Mifune has stated in terms of story, that is the central reason why he is no longer part of the police force.
The only City Hunter movie I think to ever mention that Rio has sexual harassment allegations.
Yes. Which, considering that, like, especially with the latest one, is definitely makes sense. We'll get to the newest one at some point. But yeah, like as both of you have mentioned, the soundtrack for this one kicks total ass. The song made for it is also fucking rad as shit. I do feel that, out of all the ones that don't use any of the music from the anime, I think this is the one where, while it doesn't do that, its soundtrack definitely matches the aesthetics of City Hunter. And I think that's a central thing you need to do if you're going to do an adaptation, is that if you can get at least the central vibe of what's very prominent about an IP, like in this case for City Hunter, the music, you could pretty much be forgiven for maybe like a couple of liberties that you take with it.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, go ahead.
But I like Mifune said, shout out to SR Media for putting up the best copy of this movie that we currently have on hand on YouTube. Please check this movie out. Honestly, besides those two jokes, well, there's three. One of them's, you probably won't remember it. It's worth watching, especially if you like City Hunter, or are just, I guess, genuinely curious. I say it and Nikki Larson are definitely the ones that feel like they do page to screen rather spectacularly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with like how they do certain scenes, how they frame the slapstick or the action, everywhere along those lines. Okay, now you can say Mifune.
I just wanted, it was more so to add to your point about the music, because the music is good, although I'm not sure how legally they use a theme. This is Rio's theme in the whole movie. You probably know which one I'm talking about. It's called Spy vs. Spy, and it's actually a fairly old theme. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure what the legal situation with that was. I know sometimes Hong Kong movies will just use music from something else because they can just do that. Because I know for a fact that when I watched my video on this recently, any time I used a clip from this movie with that soundtrack, it was blocked. It was like distorted. So I'm kind of curious if they ever considered using like the themes from the anime, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, one more point. I do think the action, while it isn't like as clean as Savior of the Soul or as like, I guess you can say, kind of wild like the Jackie Chan movie, I do think the way the action is in this movie is more accurate to what you would see in the source material. So I think that's a point to it.
Oh yes.
And yeah, like you said, some parts of this movie has definitely not aged the best. Probably, and arguably should probably just not been in the first place. It's definitely a you'll probably know what I'm talking about. It's definitely a Sean Connery, James Bond era type of situation, where like, yeah, stuff's just not okay anymore to do that. But the movie is still fun to watch. You just kind of have to approach it with that context. Did I do good with that metaphor?
Yes, I'd say you did pretty good with that.
It's an apt metaphor, yeah.
All right, so
no one was here to put Rio in a machine though, like they did with Sean Connery.
All right, so after Mr. Mumble came out in 1996, there has been like a pretty extensive break when it came to live action City Hunter adaptations. In 2008, there was going to be a collaboration with Fox TV and SSD with a City Hunter K-drama starring Jung-woo Sung, who, if you look up images of him, he definitely looks like he could pull off the role of Rio.
And he was in The Good, the Bad, the Weird, which is cinema.
I've not seen that, but I do wanna watch it. But instead, we would get a City Hunter K drama in 2010, just one that's in name only.
It is a thing that exists.
Yeah, like I remember for a while, like if you looked up City Hunter, this is what would have dominated Google search results. But it's interesting because when you talk about City Hunter to other people, no one really talks about this one in particular, likely because it has so little to do with the actual source material in itself.
Because we're in America.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's in Korea the other way around.
Yeah. But I have only seen the first episode of this K-drama, and it's something. I will say the first episode was, on one hand, an hour-long origin story, but I feel like all the information that was conveyed could have been done in like 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm kind of so on this one. Mifune, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
I have not seen this show. I'm sure I will watch it one day, just because I would be interested in covering it, and I don't want to speak ill of something I haven't seen all the way through. My friend, who is my former roommate, so my friend who is a Korean American, he watched this show before he watched the anime and the Jackie Chan movie for that matter. He basically described it as Korean Arrow. I'm not sure if that's an accurate assessment of the show, but that's how he put it. And from what I've seen, it seems to be a lot more serious. In fact, it kind of goes, it seems, from what I've seen of it, which is very little, it kind of goes the opposite direction of how the Wong Jing Jackie Chan movie did, where it's like, that one's like cartoony humor, like live action cartoon in a way that few movies are. This one's more like a straight drama, from what I've gathered of it. And like I said, don't want to speak ill of something I haven't seen in entirety. I'll probably commit more to this at some point. But yeah, this movie, it was very frustrating in 2018 and 2017 to look up City Hunter and not get the anime and get this instead. So yeah, that's City Hunter, the K-drama. This is like the only time one of my additions to this podcast hasn't been 20 minutes long, I'm sure.
Lily, what about you?
I watched 30 minutes of it.
And
I watched it at normal speed.
Did you have Family Guy playing in the bottom left corner?
I was watching City Hunter 91 instead.
Day by day, all right.
But like, I'm sure it. Like I've seen plenty of K-drama, and I'm sure that the first episode being an hour long is just setting up a long string of exposition that comes into play in all like 20 something episodes. I don't have much to say other than that. Other than hold on. I want to make sure I say his name right. 1 second.
Lee Min-ho.
Shut up, you.
Okay.
I bet you feel bad after that, huh?
Lee Min-ho's hair as Lee Yoon-sung looks like a literal hairpiece. And that's all I got.
This is a show that existed.
Yes, show that
sure.
that only two of us have seen any form beyond clips.
I'm just gonna consult with a potential expert here real quick. Hey,
that's gonna take.
Hey, so you've seen the City Hunter K-drama, right? What are your thoughts on it? Okay. Anything else?
Davis, we are filming.
Wait, do you guys hear her?
Yeah, I do.
Hear her?
I do.
I hear static.
I know what she's saying. So, chat, how are you guys doing while Davis consults unknown individual number 2?
Thoughts on the Drake Kendrick Lamar situation?
Yeah, thoughts on Meet the Gram?
So it's good. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Bye. Bye.
Hello.
Hi. Wang Chang Hao.
Do you feel
so
good?
my girlfriend says it's good.
Okay, everybody heard it here first.
And all right, and yeah, so that's City Hunter the K-drama. Now for City Hunter the C-drama, which we had no idea existed until last night.
City Hunter, the C drama, not so fast.
So of all of the adaptations of City Hunter that we have looked at, this is easily the one that strays the furthest from the source material, as it apparently centers around this sort of City Hunter task force thing, which that in itself is already a bit of a head scratcher, and I am sorry that is not real. That is not real.
Would you
And
describe him as Mifune? Was it a twink?
That was the K-drama version.
Oh, same thing, right?
Okay, I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna. Okay.
and now when Tony brought this to our attention last night, I thought it was just one of those things that just so happened to be called City Hunter. It has nothing to do with the manga by Tsukasa Hojo, because I mean I imagine the term City Hunter is a little hard to copyright in itself, because those are two very common words that are used. Turns out this is an officially licensed adaptation of the manga. It just has nothing to do with it.
Isn't it also a period piece?
I have no idea, nor do I really care, to be honest.
Admit it, you do.
You're right.
Apparently, if Ryohei Suzuki is anything to go by, Tsukasa Hojo is very open with, like, if you're doing City Hunter, make it your own thing. And I guess these producers and writers took that way too much to heart. At this point, just call it something else and don't pay for the rights. What the heck are you doing?
Call
Does he
it
just, like-
honestly, I would have called it Angel Heart.
Does Tsukasa Hojo even ask for people to pay him? Or he's just like, oh, okay, you just have to ask me first. He's just show like that. Can I have the rights to it? Yes, you just have to ask me nicely.
Yeah.
Nicely.
Apparently, you can watch this on YouTube. It's just not subtitled, which I mean, I know, skill issue on my part.
I was going to, but then I decided
Did you stop after 1 minute?
I didn't even click it. I do have it saved on YouTube, so maybe
The sequel to the City Hunter in television.
not cinema though.
All right. So, anything else to say about the City Hunter that apparently exists as of last night?
Just to look at a peep a comment from Jugless Juggler 89. Hello. Yeah, he is not using a cold python. He is using a gun that is not a cold python for sure. I don't know what that is. I only know whatever guns John Woo uses in this movie, and whatever gun he uses in this movie, whatever gun City Hunter uses.
Getting a lot of John Woo vibes from this.
Guy who has only seen like Face Off. Getting a lot of John Woo vibes.
Guy who's only seen Hard Boiled. I'm getting a lot of Hard Boiled vibes from this.
Yes. One more thing to add to that we forgot to mention for the Jackie Chan one. In the dub, they just straight up call him City Hunter, like that's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. That's the City Hunter.
Like, that's his birth name.
Yeah, that's his name.
Also, we have yet to refer to
Last
Savior
name
of the Soul
Hunter,
as Savior of the
first
Sauce,
name
and I need to
City.
rectify this.
Okay, well, you just did. Congrats.
First name City, last name Hunter, first name City. Hey guys, some of these jokes in this movies are not very litty.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's Savior of the Soul. There's a character that's literally just called City Hunter.
Is it Andy Lau?
No.
What are they doing?
I think it's the guy. I think it's the guy with the silver hair.
No, he's Silver Fox.
No. Anyway.
No.
What can I say?
This is a show that exists.
Yes.
That I had
that
no
we have
idea
not
existed
seen.
until yesterday.
Yeah.
That we have not seen.
maybe it's good. I don't know. It's definitely not City Hunter.
Does the girl? Does any woman in the show at least use like a big mallet?
I guess we'll have to
Is
watch
there
to
a
find out.
is there a big burly dark skinned man who with a bald head who like just exists in this show?
You'll have to watch and find out.
That's how they get
Does
you.
Rio have to spend an entire season earning like the car?
Does he strip off his black coat and put on the blue and red and say City Hunter? What a joke.
Is this good? We don't know.
Admit it, you like it.
Any City Hunter fans here?
Are the French asleep right now?
Anybody?
Did Lily's comment about Europe drive them away?
Anybody? All right, let's rock.
All right. Speaking of Angel Heart, that did get an adaptation in 2015 with Takaya Kamikawa as Rio. And for those who don't know what Angel Heart is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lily, it's not a City Hunter follow-up, but it is an alternate story set in its own universe that just so happens to have City Hunter characters.
Yes, it's an AU.
All right. Do you want to expand further upon that?
No.
Okay.
You'll have to wait till you do an Angel Heart video.
Angel Heart in live action. It is a very, very short podcast.
Anyway, none of us have watched this one. As we are focusing primarily on just strictly City Hunter, which is interesting because we were just talking about City Hunter media that even though it's a City Hunter adaptation, doesn't really follow or feel like City Hunter. That actually, I was about to do a transition real quick. Do any of y'all have comments on this one?
Yeah, Angel Heart's kind of like a parallel universe where the main character isn't us. Should I spoil it? Well, it's not even supposed. It's the premise of the movie. It's the premise of the show. I don't know if you can spoil the premise. So yeah, this is Assassin. She changes her life around because of an accident, and she gets a heart transplant from none other than Rio's wife, Kaori. So she is, she's not alive.
I'm sorry. Is that a King Kong Lives reference?
Yes.
Hell yeah!
That's great.
But yeah, Kaori is
awesome.
not in this, which makes me sad. But to its credit, the live action adaptation, from what I've seen, every character looks to be on point, physically speaking.
Well, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
That was me. That was me. Not I wasn't reading the Wikipedia page for this. I see your comment. I see you.
Wikipedia, not so fast, laddie.
So yeah, this is a thing that exists. It looks good. It's just not City Hunter, so we're not going to devote more.
Yeah, no, it's TV, which is not cinema.
What about Young Sheldon? Can they make a show called Young Rio? I mean, it's not going to be very fun considering his childhood, but it's going to be very depressing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure these City Hunter K-dramas is just that, just not a City Hunter adaptation. Not. You're right.
I mean, Young Rio was like an 8-year-old child soldier.
All right, so before we move on to this next one, Mifune, I recall you telling us that that there has been another live action City Hunter made in China that's been in limbo since 2016, directed by Stanley Tong, and I'm probably gonna butcher this pronunciation. Huang Xiaoming as Rio.
Let me put it this way. I remember reading this article about the movie back when I was making YouTube videos about City Hunter on a consistent basis. So that's roughly 6 years ago. I'm just going to assume this movie's just not happening ever. Stanley Tong, he directed a lot of great stuff, like Police Story 3 Super Cop, Once a Cop / Project S with Michelle Yeoh, which is a very good spin-off of the Police Story franchise. He directed Rumble in the Bronx. He directed Police Story 4. He directed cinematic auteur classic China Strike Force. He directed Mr. Magoo. He almost directed a live-action Sailor Moon movie, and then he directed Mr. Magoo.
Oh, really?
And he also directed Vanguard, which is a movie I owned and I have yet to watch. And it stars Hyung Jia-ming as it was going to star him as Rio, who was in movies like Return of the Condor Heroes, and it was the ex-husband of Angelababy. Yeah, this movie's probably not happening ever. I don't know why Wikipedia has yet to
it's been 8 years at this point.
It's listed under Wikipedia as proposed Chinese film. That's quite the proposal there.
Yeah, like a good 8-year proposal. All right, it's Nikki Larson time.
Yay!
Yay!
The French champagne.
French.
Crazy gibberish.
Is French excellence.
In 2019, Felipe Lachaud directed and starred in a City Hunter adaptation of its own, which seemingly kind of just came out of nowhere. And in fact, that's also a Sony production. Definitely made its presence all the more intriguing. But I remember when trailers and posters were coming out for this one, it looked and felt very spot on as to what City Hunter was about through and through. And when the movie came out, at the time of its release, like it's like it, or I don't want to say it is, like it was honestly like the best City Hunter adaptation when it comes to live action films, especially when compared to something like Mr. Mumble, that already gets a lot right about the source material. But yeah, Nikki Larson was surprisingly very good, especially with how it balances City Hunter's more comedic and dramatic components to it. Mifune, thoughts on Nikki Larson?
So, me and this movie have a lot of, I don't want to say history, but like the whole reason I started covering this stuff on my fairly inactive right now YouTube channel is because I saw this was getting made and I was interested in what would happen with it. And so I started covering, all the live action movies of the series until that point. The first trailer, I remember I actually did a video on the first trailer. Got some mixed feedback because, well, one of the things I pointed out was because I liked the way it looked. I just thought it had a very weird song choice. It used the song X, yeah, which was it reminded me a bit of Deadpool, not gonna lie. I'm not sure that's the main thing you want to kind of emulate with City Hunter.
Yeah,
but the second trailer was much better.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to imitate when you're doing City Hunter.
But yeah, let me see. I'm sorry if I forgot something. So let me give you some background history on this. So while in America we never really got City Hunter, we had like some distribution, I think, of the anime and manga up to this point. with we had the much, I forgot who did it recently, the much more expansive anime release, physical media release. I forgot who did that. Davis, do you know?
Discotheque
All right.
has released the anime in its entirety.
I think ADV did the old one, but in France, City Hunter blew up big. Like, basically what the background of this, and any French person listening to this can correct me on this. From what I understand, there was like a programming block called Club Dorothy, hosted by hope I say her name right. Hosted by her name is Dorothy, but her full name is Frédéric Hachedi. Oh my, I'm so sorry. French
Get
is like
out
very
of
hard for me to
here.
pronounce.
Boo.
Oh.
But yeah, basically they hosted. It was a part of a programming block for children where they hosted animation like Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, City Hunter, and Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star. And granted, they had to edit this a bit. Not from what I understand, not too dissimilar to how 4Kids does it for them, where they had to like tone down the violence, the gun violence, tone down the death, tone down the more pervy nature of Rio. And it was apparently pretty controversial because of the violent content that was still there. But yeah, this thing grew its own like huge fan base in France. And I think a lot of people in France, even though they grew up on this version of the show that's a bit more toned down, more funny, more comedic, the manga and anime still are very popular over there. So Philippe Lachaud, who is, again, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, he directed, wrote, and starred in this movie. And he has been a huge fan of the show. He grew up on Club Dorothy, and he basically this is kind of like Warren Beatty making Dick Tracy and doing everything levels of like, I am adapting this myself, and I'm going to do it justice. Like, I even remember all the Instagram posts where like he was showing like, he was bulking up, like he would eat like eggs every day to like bulk up for this movie to make sure he just had the physique right.
Oh, hell yeah.
There are videos of him with Sakasa Hojo, like talking to him, like asking him for his blessing. And when he showed him, he like, yes, you have my blessing for this. And yeah, this movie is like, the casting is like on point. I am usually, when it comes to casting live action, I'm always in favor of, and yes, Sean, I agree. France's crowning accomplishment next to the, I don't know what that is. I'm very bad with European history.
Behind
What
is
is that?
Behind is another French film.
Okay, I thought it was one of those things like that one thing that Gorosaurus destroys, whatever it's called.
Yes, Gorosaurus destroyed
The thing. It's called The Thing. But yeah, this movie is Elodie Fontaine who is, I believe, his Philippe Lachaud's wife and frequent co-star, plays Carrie, who is Lara in this version. Tariq he's an original character. Kamal Gunfun. He plays Mammoth, Umibozu, and he is like perfect as far as I mean, everyone's kind of perfect and spot on here. But I forgot the point. And the point I was making before, well, all these three actors and actress, they are perfect for what they're playing. I'm usually always in favor of like, if this movie is based on something that was like from Japan, from Asia, you need to get like that casting right. Like, you don't have a guy named Ryo Seiba who is white, because that's just like, I don't know, weird. I feel like you should stick to that casting, but because City Hunter kind of became its own thing with localization as Nikki Larson, not only am I like okay with that, but I think Philippe Lachaud has like earned like that kind of, I believe, he committed to this movie, and he is like perfect in this role. So yeah, this is one of the times where I'm okay with it, where versus like Justin Chowin playing Goku's one that I'm not okay with. But this is 100% a-okay, because it's basically its own thing, but it's still like, it's an offshoot of it's not an offshoot senior, but it's kind of like it's just another adaptation in this place that it came out in. And I think all these actors and actresses are perfect. Who plays Sophie Mausol. She plays this version of Psycho, who is Helene, and she's also, I would say, very spot on with what this movie is doing. And yes, Pamela Anderson is in this movie. Sorry, I was kind of reading some of the information of this, the names, because French names are very famously hard for me to pronounce. And yes, this movie did get a Japanese dub, Akira Kamiya, and all the actors, I think, from City Hunter did their own voices for this, and I would actually love to see that. And yeah, Pamela Anderson's in this movie. You have potentially the greatest original character ever created for a live-action City Hunter movie, Poncho, played by Tarek Badali. We all love Poncho here.
Yes, and I believe he's also a frequent collaborator of the shows, because I think I remember seeing his name in the Babysitter and Alibi films that he's done.
So yeah, this movie is kind of, it definitely leans more into the comedy, but again, in all fairness, that their version of the show kind of leaned into it too, because I believe that's just how it was. But I'd say this movie is like pretty much spot on. You got the humor, you got the more serious stuff, like with Hideyuki Makimura, who is Tony Marconi, played by Rafael Personaz. And it's very brief, and it's in a flashback, but it's handled well. And another cool thing about this, feels definitely like more of something you see in the anime for sure. It's very much kind of in that Speed Racer kind of realm of like, they took the cartoon and they plotted it in live action. And there's a whole bunch of like audio and visual homages to the show. Like they use a lot of the music. Footsteps famously is used, I think, twice in the film. No, it's used once. It was used in the trailer too. They do the bird flying to the side bit in one part of the movie.
Love that part.
And there's a lot of good action here, a lot of good, funny action here, especially the POV fight that happens in the movie. And they even make a reference to the one very famous scene in the anime. It's Ryo goes under Psycho's thighs and shoots his gun. And in this movie, he uses Laura's skirt as like a distraction, and then uses his gun there. I'm wording this very terribly, but you got to see it and you'll believe it. And yeah, it's great. It's a great one, and it's a great movie. That's all I can say. Really, more of it. Like they did justice. It is a film. It is cinema. Yes. They did justice, and there definitely is stuff in this movie that's like probably. I will say this: France is probably the perfect Western nation to adapt City Hunter, because they're definitely more lenient on certain things. On certain jokes you can make. Not every joke in the movie has necessarily aged. Wait, this is a 6-year-old movie, so I don't know if I can use that phrase. Can you use this? May have not aged the best for a 6-year-old movie or 5-year-old movie.
I mean, a lot has happened since.
But yeah,
it was a different time.
It was a different place. But yeah, this movie rocks. I love this movie. And this is definitely, like, I think the first one where like they have all the pieces here. We have Kiari, we have Umibozu, we have Psycho, we have a plot that is like straight from the show. We have an actor who looks and acts like he leapt off the page. And yeah, like this is the first one where it's like, no diss to Mr. Mumble, because that's like as good as I think you could do with the budget and like legality. But this is like the first one where it's like, that's the one. That's it. That is it right there. this movie was yes, and Ryuhei Suzuki. I'm glad Sean brought that up. Ryuhei Suzuki, he loved this movie. He praised this movie, and Philippe Lachaud and him had a bit of an interaction on Twitter, and it was like it'd be beautiful. It was a real passing of the torch.
Yeah, like it really was, and I remember seeing that happening on Twitter. I was just like, God, that's
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Can we bring Michael Chow back as like really old Rio? Like the Roger Moore Rio? But yeah, that's enough of me like just singing praises. This movie's great.
All right, Lily, your turn.
Watching this movie in the comfort of your girlfriend's bedroom is very lovely. That's irrelevant. It was a really fun time. This definitely felt like a true passion project for honestly everyone involved. Like, it seemed like everyone was just having a total blast filming it. And I feel like that reflects in the chemistry with all the actors in it. Like, it's a completely bonkers plot. And a lot of the things that they do are completely bonkers, but it's played very straight. It doesn't feel out of place. It feels like normal occurrences for this universe of Nikki Larson France. I love the casting for this movie. Though Eliode Fontaine, I do think she does look a little bit old to be Cowdy, but I think I can forgive it because she still acts like her. And I do like seeing her in her jockey jumper. It's very fun. I think it nails pretty much everything you want out of a City Hunter movie, or like a City Hunter anything. I wouldn't say it's I would say it's definitely a little bit more leaning to the comedic side, which as Mifudi stated makes sense considering Club Dorothy toning it down and making it more comedic in tone. Who Dorothy does make a cameo in this movie as a stewardess. And even the French voice actor for Yo plays a television reporter in this movie as well. I loved Philippe Lachaud in this movie. He definitely nailed Yo in a way that I feel even Michael Chow didn't get. He just like he oozes Leo Seba to like a T. And obviously I wouldn't say this is just it being France, but I do appreciate that they do his the more pervy parts of Yule, but it's not done in too distasteful of ways. It's definitely done with some sort of restraint. And what else? I love the POV fight, especially playing one of the anime music inserts, which made it incredibly hype as shit. I definitely felt like Mike Stralasa in the Rogue One video. I knew what that was, and I clapped just like anyone else should. And I also really appreciated the visual and audio gags of City Hunter being present, especially the sound effect that plays when Ryo gets serious and turns around and notices something. And
Mokuri
the
sense.
yeah, the Mokuri-san and the crow gag at the end is wonderful, and they even do the Get Wild transition to the end credits,
Yes.
Oh,
which
yeah.
that felt very just that brought a tear to my eye. It was beautiful. I did appreciate this. I do really love the original characters for this movie. They do feel not too out of place in a City Hunter like story. Poncho, that's
The
my
goat.
goat. That's my
Yes.
goat. I even like Julian Aruti's Gilbert Skippy. He doesn't feel too out of place. In fact, he's probably one of the best parts of the movie. He just like he uses the Cupid perfume. It makes us it makes his wife's mother try to seduce him. It becomes it. This is a central part of the plot, by the way, and he basically through the drama makes like his grand getaway just to go to a Met Gala to see this lingerie showcase. And he gets it with fucking Pamela Anderson, and it's so hilarious how like they show how like the average like middle-aged man would use this type of like MacGuffin in an everyday scenario. I did also like Didier Borden's Dominique Letia. He was very funny. I would say out of all the ones that make like very stupid, or is this is the most tasteful attempt at doing the I guess the homosexuality or homoeroticism. The fact that
And balding hairlines.
yeah, yes, that too. The having Letia and Nikki Larson have a bit of a fling, and Letia almost like what like pretty much 100% like being okay with it is very funny. And the fact that down the line they have a little like vulnerable moment with Nikki Larson where he calls Letia while Letia's hanging out with his wife. It's so fucking funny. And then afterward he like glances at the moon and he sees a face of him and then he imagines marrying him. It's so incredibly funny. I also really loved Kamel Gyonford as Mammoth Sashimi Bozu. Like Mufuni said, he definitely absolutely nails it. He has the physique down, and he has like the essential characteristics of Umibozu down. And the dynamic with Nikki Larson is on point. I think the only major weird thing about this movie is Ryo making a comment that he would rather change his sex than be with Kaori. That's a little bit distasteful, but it does feel like something Ryo would unironically say. Especially in the first season of City Hunter. So on the main point that it doesn't like overstay its welcome like the Mr. Mumble one, I can let it slide, especially because it's literally just a line of dialogue. And if you didn't notice it, you'd never like know this until someone told you. I also love how they do the Black Hand stuff. It is not too dissimilar to how the end. I'd say the end of the first season of City Hunter goes.
Mhm.
Especially since Coyote does get kidnapped. And Nikki Larson gets incredibly serious about it and doesn't crack any jokes, which is pretty much how that finale went down. Especially with Umibozu helping at the most random point. Very strong point I would like to say is that I did find it very funny that that they do oh god, what was the joke? They do the boy joke with Cowdy, and they have a random bystander just call her boy, and that is pretty much a joke ripped straight out of the manga and anime. So that that made everything like tie together. Like they got the humor pretty much on point. Like there's no like humor that feels like atypical of the series or like completely wrong, like Wong Jing's AIDS jokes, for example.
Wong Jing, don't make an AIDS joke in your movie Challenge Impossible, and it's the scene from SpongeBob where you can't say the Doobie Doober song.
But yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to watch Nikki Larson earn his car. He does. It does. I'm pretty sure it does get wrecked though. So there's a trade-off.
All right. Any more thoughts on Nikki Larson before we move on?
Oh, this movie is. Oh, go ahead.
One more. The joke where during the Umibozu versus Nikki Larson fight, where they're in the surgeon room.
Oh yeah.
The guy on the fucking surgeon table gets launched out the window and into a bus full of nuns. And the dude's just on the freaking windshield, and one of the nuns just takes a picture. And all of them look at her, and she's like, "It's for the insurance." Honestly, best joke in the movie. That was hilarious.
For real. That whole fight sequence was really good. I love the one part especially, and this is also in one of the trailers where Umibozu is basically like grabbing Rio by one arm, and Rio can't like break out of it, so like he raises his arm in the air and with like using as much force as he can try to like break free from his grip, only for like nothing to happen. And then Umibozu just headbutts him.
One of the really funny things, since this happened shortly before that, and earlier in the movie they have Ryo looking into the perfume, and he meets this one guy in an office, and they're talking about how like he's like a total fucking how much of a pervert he is. How like even when he does the Rorschach test, all he sees is like tits and ass and thighs. And then one flips to the guy showing is like nude, like hunting with his friends. And he goes, I didn't mean to show that. And then later, when they're in the hospital, the dude's there on one of the beds with an arrow in his ass. And he's like, and he goes, "You again."
Chekhov's nudity.
Yeah.
But anyway, final thoughts on Nikki Larson before we move on to our last film.
Watch it.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely enjoyed all the movies we've seen thus far, but this was the one where like this was the one like for the longest time. And like Lachelle, like he did a great job with this. And yeah, I don't know what more I can. What can I say? He did a great job with this movie. Do you mind if I take just a quick, like 1 minute, 2 minutes break to do something real quick?
Go ahead.
I apologize that we're live. I'm sorry, but I'll be right back.
All right. Should I go on to our last film?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. And that brings us to the new live-action City Hunter that had just come out, now streaming on Netflix, and this is easily the best, the quintessential live-action City Hunter that we have gotten, bar none. Everything from the characters to the aesthetics to the music, even like it really feels like it was pulled straight out of the manga and anime, and was like and was given life through the breath of director Yuichi Sato. And that is especially the case with Ryohei Suzuki as Ryo, as he truly embodies the character of Ryo, from his mannerisms and even down to the voice. Misato Morita also does a fantastic job as Kaori, and even Masanobu Ando does really good as Hideyuki. Like, especially given what little screen time he has, he really makes the best of those moments. Since Mifune isn't here right now, Lily.
I'm here right now.
God damn it!
Since Mifune is here right now.
Since Mifune is here right now, what do you think about City Hunter 2024?
Oh boy. Well, for starters, this one kind of took me by surprise. I don't know if you both remember this, but I think it was the day that it was announced that Henry Cavill would step down as Superman. This happened. I'm like, it's like that part of Transformers where we lost a great comrade, but we gained new ones. But yeah, this one, I did not expect this one to happen. And Sean, I just want to check his comment. Just know, like, yeah, we're about to talk about that right now. He just finished the Netflix movie. And yeah, this movie, I was very much into like just keeping up with what was happening with this movie. Like every bit of casting, like from the post at least, looked on point. Masato Morita, she looked like Kaori. Ryohei Suzuki definitely looked like Ryo. And when the trailers looked great, the action looked great, and I even remember reading up like that. We're gonna get more into this later, or maybe I'll just get into now. Ryohei Suzuki, he grew up with City Hunter. Like he watched the anime, and that brought him to the manga, and he even visited Shinjuku, where the anime and manga take place, and to see if he could find the board that XYZ is marked on, just so he can write XYZ. And he even said, like, to prep for this role, he obviously, got into shape. He had to get his license again, but he said that like Ryo was just like has always been inside him. Like he grew up with Ryo throughout his life. So that was like one very coincidental that a kid grew up who loved City Hunter grew up to literally be the physical manifestation of Ryo Seiba. which I don't know how he did that, but congrats. But just shows like
Bro really
his
said, "I'm
commitment.
him."
He
and
was
he is
him.
me.
He is him. And I just like I was there at like 12 o'clock midnight. As soon as this movie started, I was just watching it. Like I was. This movie is. This is to me like Americans might not know of this franchise, but like imagine watching like a Spider-Man or like the Batman, and that is this movie for City Hunter. I would say like it is the one that got pretty much everything it needed to get right. Like Ryuhei Suzuki, like what can I say? Dude, I love this dude. Like this dude, like he is Rio. Like even from his voice, even though he said he did, this is unique in that he definitely looked more at the manga for its tone versus the anime. He nailed the voice. I don't know how he did this because he doesn't sound exactly like Akira Kamiya, but he simultaneously does. It's like I didn't even have to adjust my like senses to hear this voice and hear his new voice.
Yeah, like
But it is like
yeah, there were like a few occasions throughout the film where he would like where like the change in his voice would on one hand be subtle but also very noticeable to like how much it resembled Akira Kamiya.
yeah, and yeah, this dude like he is. I don't think I've seen like an actor like embody what I picture a live action version of a character since like this is like we're at Christopher Reeve as Superman, Timothy Dalton as James Bond levels of like he's him right here.
Oh, 100%.
Like this dude, like he is him. Like I was like locked in as soon as this dude came on screen. He handled. He does lock in this movie. He handled the humor right, the drama right, the action right. Like I think I read somewhere like in the credits, like every major like action studio in Japan, or at least a good chunk of them, worked in this film.
Oh,
and
yes.
The action is just great. Like there's a lot of like John Woo inspired gun action where if you listen closely, you do hear the footsteps theme playing in the background. The car chases, like the actual hand-to-hand stuff you'd see in the show or the manga, and it's like there. It is just perfect. And something interesting about this movie that Suzuki even made note of is that Kaori, she is like the driving force of this movie. Like the driving force is like she wants to know what happened to her brother, why he was killed. And at first, Rio's like, nah, get out of here. I don't want to bring you in on this. And eventually, she is like headstrong and she wants to solve this. She is the driving force and the emotional heart of this movie. Eventually, Rio lets her in, and you know they got that chemistry going. They got like that dynamic going. And Masanobu Ando, like I said, like you said before, he is good in this movie. He's not in it a ton. I think that's just the nature of having Hideyuki Makimura in your movie. It's like being cast as Uncle Ben in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to be in this movie for like 15 minutes max, if that.
5. Make it 5.
But he's good, as is Fumino Kimura as Detective Seiko Nagami. Oh, and also, I think you should both thank me for this because I feel like I manifested this at some point in history when I did that thread where it's like someone said,
yeah.
if you could adapt a live action City Hunter movie or like a live action anime, what would it be? And I've never seen his work before, although he did something called Hentai Kamen, which means he might have been perfect for this role. I just looked at this dude from a list of like Japanese actors.
From what I heard about Hentai Kamen, yeah, that definitely would have made for a nice transition.
I looked at this dude, I'm like, he's him. And I said, I would cast him as Ryo, and I would have it be an adaptation of The Death of Hideyuki Makimura. And you're welcome for manifesting this. Ignore the fact I got the 2 other things wrong.
Thank you very, very, very much, Mifune, for giving us probably the best live action anime adaptation in recent years.
I think Ryohei Suzuki should like send me a cameo, and like he should let me be part of his entourage for this. But yeah, like the action's great. This is a good looking movie. Like it doesn't have that Netflix fakeness to it. I've seen some comments say that it kind of looks like fakeish, but this movie, it's a good looking movie, I think. Like Shinjuku looks great. It's mostly set at night, which I think something that we might have not touched on, but like City Hunter, the anime itself, at least with like the first few seasons, a lot of it takes place at night with that kind of like that city backdrop going on.
Oh yeah.
And this one really captures that.
Neon too.
And yeah, the drama is great, the action is great. The music, even though it doesn't use a lot of the score from the show, a lot of the songs, does use Get Wild. The new version of Get Wild, and that's like fantastic, but it still sounds good. I know I would love to have Mr. Private Eye and Downtown Game in the sequel, but I mean, one step at a time. And
I just want to say, everybody should stream this just so we can get a sequel for sure.
yes, stream this. Tell your parents to stream it. Tell your brother. Tell your sister. Tell your everyone. Tell your like dog to stream it too. I don't know how that works, but just do it. Don't pirate this movie. If you, I know I'm saying a completely different thing to what I said about Godzilla -1. I'm gonna report every single one of you upload this because I need this movie to make views and money. I'm gonna be. I will police for this movie. I'm a shooter for Suzuki. I'm a shooter for Ryohei Suzuki. He made me a believer. I love this dude right here. Like this dude is like, damn, damn. Like he went through. Like he's got it. I need this dude to have more movies. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this
Dwayne
is
Johnson post-credit scene.
Rio. I need you to distract Cat's Eye from me. Although we do get an Umebozu cameo by what's the actor's name?
Mafia Kajita.
Yeah, we do get it by him. I'm not gonna say where it is. We shouldn't say where it is, I think.
You just have to find it.
But yeah, like Rio himself, like he definitely. I haven't read the manga. I should, but he's definitely, from what I understand, the manga is a bit more serious. And this one definitely updates Rio for the Reiwa era, as he puts it. By like, he still has like that pervert with a heart of gold, but he's definitely they tone down certain aspects of him that would not fly today or fly in live action. And you know, I think that's good that they did that. It makes this more accessible to people, I think, around the world. And shoot, what more can I say? What can I say? This Ryohei Suzuki is him. He is him 100%. And like this movie is, yeah, this is the best movie Netflix has ever made. You know, I'm sorry, Scorsese. You know, The Irishman's cool and all, but like Ryohei Suzuki is him. Maybe put him in your next movie. Maybe you have a chance of topping this. In the Jesus movie, have Suzuki play Jesus, I guess.
Lily, what are your thoughts?
So I'm pretty sure I'm the only one here who has experience with the director Yuichi Sato. I saw his movie Kisaragi, which is a very, very nice movie about the Japanese idol industry. And also stars Shunaguri, so I can tie it into Godzilla real quick, and it could be on the it can be put in the tags. But he definitely understood how to shoot this movie, and I feel like if you've seen Kisaragi and the way he frames like a lot of the scenarios in that movie, it makes sense. And it definitely helps that this movie wears a lot of what made City Hunter in terms of its inspirations on its shoulder. A lot of its action, as Mifune stated in his Letterboxd review, is it feels very like John Woo inspired. And it does have a lot of like moments that feel very much like panel to screen, like the part where Leo bursts through the window, and it just does a slow motion frame of him kicking, doing the rider kick on someone, which doesn't feel too atypical from a City Hunter moment. Since City Hunter in the anime does have a few slow-mos in it. But yeah, Ryohei Suzuki, probably, honestly, in my opinion, probably the best casting of a manga anime character in a live action ever. Like you can tell what, especially when he does the Ryo's very unserious voice, Mokuricho, Yo-chan, that felt very close to Kamiya's voice, who does make a vocal cameo in this movie. Like it nails pretty much everything you'd want out of City Hunter, down to the neon aesthetics. It feels very season 1, season 4 of City Hunter. But I'd say tonally feels more in line with season 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as like overtly comedic in a slapsticky way, but it does have like more, I'd say, comedy that translates proper into screen. They do the hammer jokes with Kaori and Ryo, but they're done
pointed
in,
and soy faced.
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't clapped.
I pointed at the screen.
It felt right. It was a lot like how Nikki Larson did it is at the end of Nikki Larson, where whenever they had to do the hammer, it felt appropriate for when they did it. And I absolutely adore how they do the Leo locking in stuff, where it sort of plays it in a different zone, and the music kind of cuts to this very slow, I guess, WAV file, and he just fires a shot and he hits it with like absolute precision, and it's so right. They do it in pretty much all of them except, I guess, Savior of the Soul. But this one, it feels 100% like it's out of the manga and the anime. It's not over the top. Sure, you'll have like the nightclub scene where you follow the bullet, and it's an obvious CGI bullet, but it feels right. And I do appreciate how we actually feel like we're going on a journey in this movie compared to the other ones, because we're not in like maybe 5 locations, and that's the movie, or in Wong Jing City Hunter's case, 3 locations and a boat. Like it feels like we're traveling through multiple areas in Japan, and it also like it feels like you're genuinely seeing a world that feels familiar yet totally unique to the movie. Like the union, which some fucking union.
Hey! They learned their lesson when they do something wrong. They won't do it again.
They don't even have dental.
You don't know that.
It's definitely the kind of like well, I feel like it's adapting an actual plot in one of the movies. It did kind of remind me of the last City Hunter anime film with the blonde guy. I don't remember its name.
Which one? The one from a few years ago, or the one that just came out last year?
A couple of years ago.
Shinjuku Private Eyes.
Yeah, Private Eyes. It did feel like that at points. Especially with the trying to have Ryo join the organization or the central villain in general. I do feel like this is like the most proper reimagining of City Hunter you can get. It takes the characters and puts it in a modern setting, but they don't feel like fish out of water type thing. They just feel like normal members of the world. It doesn't even feel like there's two separate worlds. Everything feels like a single thing. The underground, when we do explore it for how little it is, while it is kind of odd to see you'll actually like have hits with someone who is in the underground like that. It does feel right for the movie, and doesn't feel like a drastic departure, like say Ryo dreaming about being in a swim pool with a bunch of women and bitching about Kaori-san in his dream while she's just sitting there while he's swimming in his hammock. Or like Ryo getting outside by a girl who goes into a tailored suit parlor and walks out and he doesn't even recognize her at all. Which Ryo would probably only take a few seconds to realize that it was her.
Should we just say everything from the Jackie Chan movie is just not?
Yeah. I mean, we already said that. It's we'll call it a Chino. It's City Hunter in name only.
Except for Psycho, I think.
I do think the only problem I have with this movie is I do find the opening credits kind of lame. It feels more like it belongs for like a TV show.
This is Shinjuku Vice.
Yeah.
Without Linkin Park.
I honestly expected like a fanfare of like even like the first OP to season 1, which is
that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, I would have expected that, or like a modern digital synth version of that. But it's still fine. It like the only part I think throws it off is the music, and that's pretty much it. If it had a better music choice, I would have been more forgiving about its very television credits ass intro.
Can I also, just to add something about the action, it was edited by Takuya Taguchi, who also worked on The Returner, so that Davis can make this related to Godzilla again. In addition to that, the big head Shinjuku cameo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and the and the red testicles.
And the Oppenheimer poster cameo where it's just called Award.
Yes, and yes, Godzilla is in this movie. Davis told me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I wrote in an article on Kaiju United about Godzilla in the new City Hunter.
yes, for views.
Yes.
Some of my friends gave you crap for that, but I'm like, no, this is good because it's a thing that I like. That's getting like psyop into the Godzilla community. So
And I did not notice this until watching this movie a couple hours ago. There is a cameo by technicality by Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star on a billboard.
Hell yeah.
Which, for any of you who don't know, Hojo and Suasa are good friends. They created what was it, Koamix? I don't remember the name of it. Davis, you quick shoot the name.
Davis, go.
The name is escaping me too. But
oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
Quick Bafudi.
Wikipedia, let's go.
But it yes. But that also was started with Kamiya as well. Next question. I absolutely adore Misato Morita as Kaori. She definitely nails the youthfulness of Kaori, but not in like she's a brat like in Wong Jing City Under. Or it doesn't, or she doesn't go like in Savior of the Soul, or shows up at the very end to hit Lo on the head and beat the snot out of him, like in Mr. Mumble. But she does hold her own in her own cowardly ways, and that are very much like the manga and anime. And I do appreciate how she's modernized. She doesn't wear her iconic the central outfit you'd think of when you think of the character, but she does wear an outfit that she definitely would wear. All four of them. And I do love how Kaori is the first one to connect with Kurumi, since they are roughly in the same age range. And which I can transition to talking about Kurumi, played by Asuka Ahanamura, who is a very nice original character, and I do think it is a great way to have, I guess, cosplay be part of City Hunter in some shape or form, since especially when you want to talk about like modern like internet culture, that would be something that Rio would be probably very much for, especially pinup cosplayers. Which if anybody here who has seen it remembers him almost getting him and Makimura hit by a fucking truck, just looking at her I guess it was her Instagram page. Yeah, Instagram page. It tracks. It definitely tracks. And also, fun fact for anybody who has seen the movie, there is a Ruby cosplay. Someone does cosplay as Yang from Ruby. There's also a Minecraft Creeper head that you can buy at Hot Topic and Walmart. So
Yes.
you two can have an official prop from City Hunter 2024, just for the nice price of however much those cost.
And Kels just had one more thing about. Are you I don't want to. If you were talking about the cosplay thing, were you gonna transition from that or?
Oh, the fight at the convention is awesome. A lot, really stellar choreography, and it does feel something that you would 100% see in especially modern shonen anime that take place in real world settings, or honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was something that was done in like a James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just
And
let you go down, Mifune. I'll add on to whatever points you have.
I just want to say because I do have some cosplay experience in my life, and I want to say that there was one bit that good guy Rio bit. He kept blocking all the pervy photographers trying to take photos of Kurumi. Yes, that's good. Good guy Rio.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. The Stallion of Shinjuku, I believe he called himself.
Yes.
Which is a visual homage to something he does in the manga that cannot be done in the anime or in live action. Maybe?
Is that good?
But we do have a surprise guest on here tonight. We have Sean of Shots of Japanese Cinema and Asian Movie Pulse joining us, who has
Yay.
just watched the movie. Sean, what are your thoughts on City Hunter 2024?
Wow.
Sean is dead, I think.
Sean is speechless.
You didn't make him a profile picture.
You're right.
Oh,
I did not. I probably should have. Well, I'll raise right now.
He was astounded by the quality of this movie.
Bro is absolutely speechless.
Bro's flabbergasted.
Well, I'm sure he'll say something when he comes back. We should talk about the choreography, since the stunt teams on this one were pretty stacked.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You
One of
two
them-
nerds can take this part.
One of them was I have a list of like the credits. Where is it? I screenshotted this.
Here, let me.
So yeah, there's a lot of ones I can't read, but like among them are Tokyo Action
there's-
Enterprise, Ace Project, Grand Sky Promotion.
Stunt Team Goku, AAC Stunts.
Which, by the way, just to kind of lock it in, one of the prominent people in AAC Stunts is former Gamera suit actor. Let me see.
Which one?
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Give me
Titan
like
Goji,
one.
not so fast.
It was Akira.
Come on.
Hold
Come
on.
on.
Wikizilla, come on, don't film me.
Come on. Come on.
Akira Ohashi, I think, who played Gamera in the first two movies and Iris in the third movie.
Yeah, that is the name. You got the name right.
There he is.
There he is.
Yes, he's back.
Akira Ohashi is here with us. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, and he speaks perfect English even.
We did it in
All right.
post.
Sean, now that you're here, what are your thoughts on the new City Hunter?
What can I say? That's what.
I know. What can you say? We're waiting.
Well, that was quite a viewing experience. I mean, to put shortly, I absolutely loved it.
Right answer.
I also did the right option and I watched it on Netflix. I didn't pirate the movie. Nor did I try to watch a copy of it that was uploaded to Twitter. You know, that's definitely something everyone should consider doing. No. I will say, as someone who's more of a newcomer to the franchise that is City Hunter, that there was a lot that I really loved and appreciated about this movie. First off, I want to say is that there is definitely clear love and appreciation for the source material, and you can definitely tell that, unlike, say, some, especially with kind of the controversy that a lot of the Japanese entertainment industry has definitely gotten in recent years, where this movie, you can definitely tell that the production was a very positive experience, and you can tell that everyone involved was just having the time of their lives when making this movie. Never mind the fact that literally the director as well as the lead actor Ryohei Suzuki are fans of City Hunter and grew up. And it is, to kind of go off what Mifune said, it is a little ironic that they grew up and now they are the face of live action City Hunter. Sorry, Nikki Larson, your place has been taken. I say that as someone who actually really liked Nikki Larson. But also to go off what Lily said, that you can definitely tell that they definitely maintain a lot of the qualities that make up City Hunter. You know, like Rio being, you know, this very perverted playboy, but also this force of nature when it comes to being a marksman. And also showing that when he does get serious, he does get serious. I think ultimately, though, even though Rio is definitely a major face of this movie, I feel like a major driving force of this particular version, compared to a lot of other versions or other movies, particularly, is Kari. You can definitely tell that they wanted to up the feminine angle of City Hunter, and I even remember that they were trying to do. There were articles coming out that they wanted to adjust, you know, keep a lot of, you know, the comedy, but adjust certain aspects for a modern audience, but without feeling too far removed from the original material. And I think that was a smart choice. And I also think one that helps is the yin yang chemistry that Rio and Kari have in this movie, where you could definitely tell there's such polar opposites, yet they both have common goals, which is, of course, finding the reason why Hideyuki Makamura is killed. So I thought that was a very clever way to do that. And also having the character of Karumi being kind of like an outsider looking into the underground crime world that's depicted in the movie. Also, I loved every fight scene in this movie. I mean, for one, it was stylized, but I also appreciate that the movie let the choreography breathe without. I mean, even as someone who liked Shin Kamen Rider, I think one of the criticisms I did have with the fight choreography in that movie is I thought it relied a little too much on the quick cutting. Whereas this, it's very much trusting the fight choreography and, you know, the way it's edited. And it has a blend of being comedic at times, but also downright brutal. Especially when Rio literally forces one of the henchmen to kick another henchman in the nuts, which really caught me off guard.
Wait, Sean, you don't like quick cuts?
No, I do. I like
Davis, play the Steven Seagal clip.
No, please don't. I like quick cuts, but I feel like sometimes, especially in a lot of modern action movies, I think they're too reliant on it. Again, even as someone who likes Shin Kamen Rider, I thought it became way too reliant on that at points.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I also love the fact that also in not just in terms of the action, like you said, Mifune, it's a good looking movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's shot well, but it also has like this movie definitely also knows how to use its color palette very right,
Yes.
especially with a lot of the movie taking place at nighttime and using a lot of the neon lights, specifically of Shinjuku. Which yes, the Godzilla head does make a cameo in this movie.
Hell yeah.
I know what that is. Yeah. Yeah.
I went to that head in person.
I can't believe you've been to a City Hunter location.
Yes, I've been to a City Hunter location. Yeah. I also love that there's also so much going on with the comedy and so many shots. If like you rewatch the movie, a great example is when Rio tries to make the jump during the opening action scene, and he crashes into a wash girl parlor and literally rides on a boat and then literally speeds out the window. And I forget the line specifically. Nakamura says he's like a perverted Aladdin.
Yes. Yes.
Which
That bit kind of reminded me of the cut. I don't know if you remember this, since I know you watched James Bond, but the cut flying carpet bit from The Living Daylights.
oh yeah. I mean, there is a lot of James Bond in City Hunter, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was not too far off. I also loved the music. Like it was a nice blend of different genres, and it never felt like it was like a slap together music score.
Yeah.
I will agree that with Lily that I was a little caught off by just kind of how quick the opening credits were, and it did feel more like something out of a TV show. But I guess that kind of was the point. I don't know if you agree with me, Lily.
You can't say what can I say.
Also, I do admire that the movie, for as fast paced as a lot of this movie gets, is also does know when to breathe at points, which is something that I do appreciate. I mean, after the big action scene at the cosplay event, I do like that there is a nice moment of Rio and Kari having a heart to heart. I feel like that was needed to balance out, all the fast paced, chaotic scenarios that are playing out.
Definitely.
I will say one of my only criticisms with the movie is that I do wish we got to know more about the villains of the Union, specifically the main antagonist. I feel like at the end it's just kind of dumping all this information in the revelation without going into spoilers. I mean, I will give the actor this. The actor definitely was hamming it up, but I feel like it's more so the henchmen that he sends out that I thought were more interesting to follow. And I thought were more colorful. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Yeah, I actually at first thought that the big henchman was the Umibozu homage. But yeah, I think he definitely was kind of one of those like just shadowy figure kind of guys. And I'm not sure if anyone else sees this but me. Does he kind of got like a Japanese Sam Raimi vibe going on?
He kind of does. Or
Ted Raimi?
He kind of feels like a Sam Raimi Spider-Man villain, if I'm being honest.
No, I mean like he literally looks like Sam Raimi a little bit.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, I could see it a little bit. But it's more so like of the villains, it's more so like the people he sends out that I find to be more interesting. Especially the assassin that Rio fights at the cosplay convention.
Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpion. Like I found her to be more interesting. And also I like the fact that it hints that Scorpion and Rio have this kind of weird villain, but also this enemy, but also kind of respect for each other for their, positions, weirdly enough.
You know what would have been sick?
What?
If she turned into like a scorpion.
Shut up.
No. It would have been better if she said, "Rio, I am your mother, and I'm also a fucking scorpion."
You kind of got that Oedipus thing going on there.
Oh no.
No,
Anyways,
that's not true. That's
that's
impossible.
impossible.
Why does she turn into a fucking
Fucking
scorpion?
scorpion.
That doesn't even happen in the Wong Jing movie.
I will say that also this movie does a good job of using some of its big name supporting players for the little time that they're on screen. Like, it is of course cool to see Ayomi Masaki in a very short but memorable role in the movie as the CEO of what was the organization again?
It's called
The
Lore.
unit-
Of Lore,
Oh,
yeah.
Lore.
Yeah. It was cool seeing her. I also really liked Akutsu a lot in this movie for the little time that he was in. ICO Hashizumi is a marvelous actor, and he totally ate that role up. I also to go back to Ryo Suzuki, one of the things I do appreciate about his performance in this movie is how well he's able to balance the comedy, but also the more dramatic moments,
Yeah.
which I think helps because it makes the character a lot more unpredictable. He's not just a one-trick pony. Like, he has a lot, he's unpredictable. Like, a great example is when, without spoiling, when he subtly places a tracing device, which that caught me by surprise. But yeah, I'm kind of just rambling, but long story short, I absolutely love this movie and I highly recommend it. And honestly, it makes me want to check out more of Yuichi Sato's work, because this was definitely a good first impression on his skills as a director. I have one question though. Do you think, without spoiling, that the movie leaves the door open for a sequel?
Absolutely. In fact,
Hell yeah.
I think I kind of know what they're setting up based on what I know of the manga.
Mm.
Maybe readers will know what I'm referring to, but just like, name dropping a certain item, concoction, fluid that is used in this movie. Yeah, I definitely see where they're going with it.
The question is, do you all want to see a sequel to this movie, or do you think this movie should remain?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, it was just a question. Like, Jesus.
Give Suzuki like all of Netflix's. I'm sorry, Scorsese, but this is like the high priority right here. Like, I'm sorry, David Fincher, but like, unless you're making a cameo in the next movie, give that money to Ryo Suzuki like ASAP. Give me the City Hunter trilogy. Give me like the 4-hour Snyder cut of City Hunter.
Do you think that this movie? Do you think this movie could kickstart something similar to what the Rurouni Kenshin live-action movies did?
Yes, I think that, especially if there's definitely episodes of the show and obviously arcs in the manga where that they could definitely be adapted, or at least kind of James Bond way, like expanded into a feature-length presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, Lily Davis, your thoughts on that?
I just want all the sequels to exist, honestly. I feel like the world of City Hunter is one with tons and tons of cinematic potential, as seen in several episodes of the anime. Now, haven't read the manga, but I'm surprised if that has like a lot of potential for the cinematic media as well. So yeah, I would be for it.
And I just want to say, if they do, get Philippe Lachaud to cameo, either as like kind of like what Mangbo did, where like you have like City Hunter kind of going in the city and he sees a guy with like the exact same outfit as him, you can do something cheeky like that, or like I forgot what his name is. Rio's best friend, who's American and blonde, has let's show play him, and to hell
That would honestly be so fitting.
if Michael Chow wants to do it, have him cameo too.
Funny
And
enough,
I guess it's fine. Lee Min Ho and Jackie Chan can cameo too if they really want to.
Philip Lachaud expressed his love and appreciation for the movie on social media.
Yes,
which I thought
that
was great.
Beautiful.
It was
Me
epic.
commenting under that No Way Home, No City Hunter, No Way Home.
No Way Home except good. Oh wait, did I say that?
No Way Home, but like with like good CGI.
Ugh. Lily, what about you?
Give me as much as I want, which is all of it.
Yes.
Adapt even like the worst arcs of the series, and I'll watch it anyway.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I won't watch it. But bring the music into this. I want to hear footsteps. I want to hear Mr. Private Eye. I want to hear Sarah. I want to hear Downtown Game. All that good stuff.
Now, what?
I think Shinjuku Private Eyes would definitely make for a really good live action film.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you not want to see them do if they were to do sequels? Because I say that because this is Netflix, which is a whole rabbit hole in terms of creative control and that kind of stuff. So, if they do sequels, what do you not want them to do? Obviously,
I don't want them to not make them.
I don't want them to take creative control away from like Suzuki and Sato, because Suzuki basically was kind of like the City Hunter consultant on set, where like he would, or for writing this movie, he would like kind of have his input be in it. And I definitely don't want to see any of that creativity be compromised or anything. That would be just, I think that would be just the worst. Give this team and Suzuki especially everything they need to do what they got to do. And I can't think of anything else that I wouldn't want. I know my profile picture, as cool as it is, probably don't bring Dwayne Johnson to this, because he'd probably want to make it the Umibozu movie with City Hunter as a guest star.
just what I think my pitches don't do it like the Cowboy Bebop live action series.
Don't blackmail people.
Exactly.
Okay, that bit was awesome. You guys got to admit that bit was awesome from the show.
Also, this is totally off topic. I love the fact that Kari's cosplay in the movie looks totally like a Final Fantasy character. Like, she totally looks like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
I wonder if she is actually supposed to be something, but I just don't know what that is.
I immediately, when I saw her, I thought of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, especially with the hair.
Like, I think, I'm not sure if Lily knows what this is, because I feel like she's seen some anime. When Kurumi and the two other female cosplayers go on stage, they kind of reminded me of, I think, is it Magic Earth, Ray Earth? There's an anime where there's 3 main female characters and they all dress like that.
An anime with 3 main female characters. Oh, there's totally not a lot of those.
That was also a Sega Saturn game. There you go. Boom.
I definitely got Magic Knight Ray Earth vibes from their designs, especially with the earpieces. But I'm not entirely sure myself. I'm sure some moron on Twitter's probably said something.
Like, because in the movie, it's red, green, and blue as the color schemes, right?
Red.
Yes.
It was red. Red, green, and blue.
Yeah, because I sent an image in a separate chat, and that kind of looks like what they were going for.
I actually have if they were to do sequels, there is something that I would like to see the sequels continue. That one of the things that I absolutely loved about this movie is how much of a character Japan itself is in the movie,
Yes.
just as much as the characters itself. Because admittedly, that's one of that is sometimes an issue that I notice with some of these live action manga anime adaptations, is that sometimes there's so much fixation on getting down the traits of the characters, which is important, that the setting itself feels less important and more obsolete, which I think kind of can hurt the tension within a story. Whereas in this movie, it really does make Tokyo feel gigantic and unpredictable. And so I honestly, I do hope if they were to do some sequels that they build upon showing just how, expansive the environment is, because it adds also more danger and obstacles for Ryo and Kari.
Yeah, this is definitely the first movie where like the city that it takes place in is a major factor in like the action sequences and like the just the movie in general. Like I don't think we got as great as Nikki Larson is. I don't think we kind of got that vibe. Probably because filming in Paris is very expensive, I imagine. And I don't think we got that vibe from like Manga, Mr. Mumble. Lily, was there anything that you would like to either like to see or not like to see in sequels? I know we didn't get your thoughts on that.
I would definitely love to see what was the name of the story? I would love to see the Angel Just a Fear chapter get adapted, which was, I believe, the fourth chapter in the first volume. And I would absolutely love to see a potential hinting at Cat's Eye being present in the universe. Or even, for no fucking reason, Lupin the Third existing.
Played by Adam Sandler?
Yes. I just think it would be neat to like show that potential for like Cat's Eye movie, which I definitely welcome. That would be a very fun movie to watch, since Cat's Eye is a very fun series.
That reminds me, apparently the French are working on that.
Maybe I'll give it to them the fourth time. If I haven't seen the Angel Heart television series, obviously, but I wouldn't be opposed to an Angel Heart movie if they had if they keep the cast of this movie. Music inserts, please.
Yes.
Where's Want Your Love?
For real.
And you kind of brought up a good point with adapting episodes. I would love to see the Christmas episode, double-length episode, be adapted.
Now, would you want to see the use of Easter eggs be sparing? Because that's another thing I did like about the movie, is it was very subtle with its use of Easter eggs and callbacks, especially with the voice cameo by Akira Kamiya. What I'm saying is don't do something that like an MCU movie does, where it feels very on the nose.
I think the way all the movies have done it, that have done it, are very good with that. So yeah, keep that energy going.
All right, so I think that pretty much just about covers everything that needs to be said. I mean, what can I say? City Hunter
What can I say?
is pretty good stuff.
Thank you all very much for tuning in to another episode of TokuTitanCast. I know this was another one of our long ones, but yeah, that is what happens when we yeah, talk about stuff that's that we just really love and that we just really vibe with, real passionate about, especially considering it's something that we'd love to see more of. So yeah, once again, I'm Davis Middle, also known as Titan Goji. Y'all know where to find me if you're tuning into the stream. My stuff's in the description as well. I'm Titan Goji on everything. You'll kind of know the drill at this point.
I don't know the drill.
Who are you?
Who am I?
You are Air.
That's a different Jackie Chan movie.
Is that good?
I mean, it's better than City Hunter, I think. Or Chino, my bad.
Yeah, Chino.
All right, let's just go around and plug our stuff, starting with Mifune.
Well, I'm going to definitely want to make a video on this movie. I have a lot to say. A lot of Ryuhei Suzuki glazing is in the progress. But yeah, I have. This is so fun. This is a lot of fun to do. Thank you, Davis, for inviting me on. Thank you, Lily and Sean, for being here just to talk about this great hyperfixation we got. And may Ryuhei get the sequels he needs and deserves. Oh, and also watch City Hunter.
Yes.
Watch City Hunter on Netflix, also the anime.
No, watch it on Twitter.
No.
No, only do that for -1. I mean, don't do that for -1. Don't legally put Davis in trouble.
Oh, not so fast.
All right,
I
Lily.
got this one, laddie.
Same song and dance as the last two times. You can find me on Twitter. The plug's right on the screen. I write for Kaiju United. I am working on a piece on a lesser known Subaraya production series that was supposed to be the new Ultra Q of the 90s called Moon Spiral. Nobody here has heard of that before.
I have.
Shut up. I have a couple. Yeah, I just told you. I have a letterbox just as these two do. I guess follow that if you want to get a one-off, one-sentence review of your favorite movie, or for me to call your favorite movie awful. Please watch City Hunter 2024 so that way I can get more. I don't care if you like it or not. You're still giving it money, so that way I can watch more.
All right, Sean. I know you're not on screen, but yeah, just have at it.
You can find me on Twitter, Cinema of Japan on Twitter. And you can find me, I write for Asian Movie Pulse, and I'm definitely going to be working on a review for the new City Hunter film, because after that, I definitely do want to get the word out more about this movie.
Yes.
And yeah, to go off what they're saying, yeah, support this movie, streaming on Netflix, and whether you like it or not, you give it, I think we definitely could use more movies like this.
This is what the movies are all about.
This is cinema, but animation isn't.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great.
Except City Hunter, that's cinema too. That's cinema. except if it's things that I like.
Alrighty. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you guys like what you've seen or heard, feel free to support the channel on Patreon, or just give a like, a share, comment, subscribe, follow these kind folks who are with us tonight, and yeah, take it easy.
What can I say?
What can I
What
say?
can I say?
What can I say?